One more song, yo. One more song.
I can. I can come in. I'll probably come in right after 11. Yeah, but don't feel like because I'm not in the mood today. I'm in the mood every day, but I just have to,
That's a good song to go window shopping or just going around in the store when you're broke. I really can't buy anything. I'm just
For
fronting
real.
like everybody.
For real.
Grand Rising. How are you? This
Good.
Rise. Empress
Grand
Ella G.
Rising. I'm
Did you get enough
good.
sleep?
Did I get enough sleep?
Yes.
I have no idea what that is really, but yeah. Listen.
No matter how much sleep I get, I want more. This period for me is just like, I just want more. You know,
Yeah.
it's just that I think that after so many months or for such a long time since coming here and finally feeling
Right.
I'm not really where I'm supposed to be. I will be there very, very soon.
Mm-hmm.
There's an acceptance, like I'm here, I've been doing it, I got this thing to another level, and I just feel like I want to rest some more. You know, one of those
Mm-hmm.
cuddly days where you lay in the bed and you're like, why do I have to get up? And only when you have to go pee or go to the bathroom or get something to eat, you lay back down again. You don't shower until later on, if at all. That's bad. But
I
anyway,
want one of those. I really want one of those. I mean,
some people call it a mental health day.
yeah. You know, it's like you don't realize what you have until you don't have it. Are you there?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
okay. Sorry.
I made a little noise over here, so I muted myself for a second.
Oh, okay. You know, because like over the summer, let's not summer, late fall into, winter, you know, I'm here, I'm doing whatever, but there was still a level of stress because there were certain things that I still had to do as far as, you got to get up, you got to go visit, you got to do this, you got to do that. But goddamn, excuse my French.
Oh, well, that's expressive English.
Goddamn, Jesus Christ. I never knew, and I'm not lying. I never knew. Never knew. Could I have imagined? I could not have imagined.
Well,
Can
that
I
goes
believe it?
for
I cannot believe
the
it.
bad.
You
Yeah, you
know?
mean like where you find yourself in life, or
No, this presents situation that, well, yeah, I
oh,
find myself,
okay,
but yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no. Well, isn't it that way for the good or the bad? Like whenever you find yourself in a good situation, you find yourself saying the same thing, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to a bad situation, which we don't even know if it's bad because it feels bad, it looks bad, but it's a portal to getting into the good. Good always comes. It
Yeah,
does. The
yeah.
result is always going to be good, but good, you'll always find flashes of good if you look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many of us, I think, I'm not saying you feel entitled, I'm just saying the overall sense is that, especially when you're a positive person, that you feel things are going to work out for the best. Now, you have
Yeah,
people who are entitled to happiness without putting any effort in to steer themselves there, which doesn't guarantee it. And that to me in this life is the ultimate like question. Like, don't the
right.
good people are good and end up sometime in not good situations?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
we have to go back and think this is temporary when we think about eternity. Like this life is a pit stop to eternity. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
you know, is eternity better? We're in these bodies. We won't be in these bodies. So is it because we're in these bodies? A lot of times we find ourselves in bad situations with the need to, we have our lust, we have desires for material things. These are the things we have to conquer. So maybe in my thinking, if we can get to conquer these things, we lessen the weight of what we have on our shoulders as far as the self-imposed stress of us having these desires that are placed on us. Like, okay, it's like a card game, and you have the person who's shuffling out the cards and handing it to you. And you look at the hand that you have, and in your hand may be, oh God, I'm lazy, don't want to work, I'm alcoholic, and I gotta don't know how to hold back. The next person may be like, okay, I'm very disciplined, but I'm a chronic masturbator, and I don't approach real relationships because I don't think it's any worth it.
It can't be any better than what your hands can do.
But it's almost like, look. This is me personally saying this, right? You get to realize that masturbation is like having a lot of money, and you're standing at the ATM, and you take it as the money's handed up to you, you throw it over your shoulder and walk away. It felt good having the money in the hand, but it didn't do nothing for you.
What a waste.
You might wake up lonely, or there's nobody there to hold, or
right.
We're not building with it.
Waste of effort.
Exactly. So it's like the perpetual person standing there filling a bucket with water, and the bucket has no bottom. I'm filling it up with water, but it don't stay.
Boy. Yeah. But and I say it because we're talking, but it's not something that I really want to dwell on, on any level. But it's really, like I said, it's my mom, and there were things that when you just sit down and you look and you say, my God, I couldn't have imagined this 3 weeks ago. I could not have imagined this, because deterioration is just happening by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it happens faster and faster.
Yeah, it's like.
But you know what? I went through that with my father.
Yeah.
My mother just had that second stroke, and it took her out.
Right.
And her deterioration wasn't deterioration physically. She was aging, normally, but I saw her feel really bad about realizing that my brother was pretty much not going to really make anything of himself, and that hurt her really bad. And then almost a guilt thing, like she's apologizing to me, because it wasn't like when she passed on I was debt free. We had things together that couldn't be excused,
right?
So she was apologizing, oh God, you got this debt on you. But then again, I did get funds from other sources other than insurance, which wasn't as much but it was still a pretty penny that I put right back into the home. So it was like continuing this. It wasn't like I'm some dude who, okay, I got a fresh start, because no, I had to continue that and then take the extra burden on, which wasn't a burden, never a burden to have my kids, but the one I was with. Right. I thought it was a good thing. All of a sudden, it's like I had my moment. I was like, I cannot understand that I'm in this situation. You know what I mean? We all have those, but whatever it is, realize it's not going to last forever. And it causes us to reflect, because I remember, I have a snippet of a memory, right? I have many memories. Like, let's go back to my father. And I remember it was on a Saturday. It was in this restaurant where, when he didn't have big jobs, he had little like floor waxing jobs, but in nice places that paid well. So one of the Saturdays, which was 3 stops, it was Orsini's restaurant, Italian restaurant, the Two Bears, which was a Russian restaurant, and another one, a French restaurant named Le Champignon. It was right there on 6th Street. I think between either 5th and 6th. I'll never forget it. I'm going to look those up and see if they're still there. Maybe the kids or somebody else took it over, because they were really nice restaurants.
Orsini's is one of the big families, right? One of the families.
Or you mean one of those like
that run things? Things, yeah.
You know
the
what?
Orsini's.
So you mean to tell me? Passed on already, those two, but it was Armando Orsini and another Orsini, right? I keep forgetting the name. It'll come to me, but Armando Orsini was the handsome, stereotypically, he fit the mold of that Italian well-groomed, well-suited, handsome, one eyebrow. He kind of came off like John Gotti, but a gentleman. He didn't have any arrogance.
Right.
So I can add this on to my repertoire of stories that I was cool with mobsters like that because as a young man, they would, hey, Lancy, come here, you know, and they'd hand me a $50 bill. You know what I mean? I was like, God, dog. You know, I always wanted to be there on Saturday. They didn't always do that like that. I didn't stand around looking like a hungry puppy, but a couple of times, like every third week, that would happen. Not exactly. Sometimes it's back to back, but I always made sure we kind of hanging around. And I knew it was coming because it was like, he'd ask my father, you know, like after the work was done, they'd sit there and chit chat. We'd go in the back in the kitchen and get a really nice meal. Ooh. I mean, a really nice Italian meal. And even back then, now my father did eat meat, but not like a meat eater because he mainly ate a little bit of everything, but a little meat was there. And so, you know, there is a pleasure to steak, which I don't really like steak because most people can't make steak. But them jokers back there made steak. All I remember is the lean parents sauce on the steak and or the egg sauce on the steak. And then there was one of the cooks back there named Carlos. And he looked like Frankenberry. He looked like an old. Oh my
goodness!
And another guy that looked like Dracula. Seriously. And they would be beating the meat by. No, that sounds like funny, right? They'd be beating the meat in the hand with that little round thing that looks like a little game. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. But when they gave us that steak, as much as we wanted, like when we went back there, we were treated like royalty, not like two Negroes back there bumming a meal. And because Armando would say, listen, go on upstairs and eat. Go up and eat all you want. And he meant that because these guys would make steak and make these big things that we could take home. Not that we would, but it was expensive and the grade of it. And if you want to eat steak, you had to eat that kind of steak that I ate in those days. Not that I ate it every week, but it was not that we always stayed there to eat all the time. But my father would, and they would the way they did dishes. I couldn't really see what it was. Some things that had cheese in it, but it was the top of the line. It wasn't this cheap TV dinner wannabe Italian dinner. This thing here. And oh man, but
you know it's the fat on the steak that really gives it that delicious flavor, right?
It was just enough of it, but the way they
cook it, the way they brown it.
And again, I'm not one who has lust for meat because I couldn't tell you. It's been several decades since I think the last time I really ate steak was maybe once or twice. No, not even in the early 80s. Like back in the 70s, back around that time was the last time I ate steak. Because anytime I see it, it was like, I mean, anybody else, we have steak. I'm like, the little dried up piece of thing, they ain't got no flavor to it. Like, it came off, not that it tasted like this, but the way that sushi hits most sushi eaters, every bite was like, let me take my time with this. And I am not a traditional meat eater. I don't like steak. But this thing made me like steak. You know, so going back to that, it was that memory. Since you said that, it flooded my mind because it doesn't take much to flood my mind with memories. But I remember we were speaking about deterioration. And that was like the middle 70s, because he was always there, you know. But it was the middle 70s. And I remember him walking up the steps. He had knee pads on because lots of times he'd have to go down and get down on the floor and scrape up somebody who dropped bubble gum or something, whatever. And at that age, at that time, he had to be about 60 years old. He had to be about 60 years old around that time. And I remember he was in front of me. Now, I'm not looking at my father's butt like that, but he was in front of me. And I remember as a young man saying, man, he's got muscles. Look at his strong legs, you know, in a young boy admiration sense. Like when you look at somebody and say, man, I want muscles like you. The tattoos and stuff when he was in the Navy, British Navy. And the song was, you haven't got nothing. Dun, 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 Stevie Wonder. Dun, 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 and he was walking up double steps. He wasn't walking up one step at a time. He was holding on. And I was like, man, my father's so strong. I remember admiring him that way. And then you flash forward, like 14, 13 years later, he has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
He still had strength. But I saw the creation happen to me so fast. So for me, from the age of 11, 12, that was his last bit of like real vitality, being virile, and when you think, okay, I know he's probably still functioning that way, but those other years that began to make him feel that decline that maybe he didn't want to admit to, and it happens so fast when you're younger. When you're seeing them at a prime, now he had gray hair from young, so he always had gray hair. But one thing I remember, he had it gray in the front, it was dark. It was almost like black in the back, damn near. It wasn't dark brown. And then the gray took over and moved back. And the black part of the hair, as the years went on, it went down, like to the back of his head, like a sun was setting. And I remember always thinking, oh God, I hope it doesn't mean that when the black is gone, he's going to go. Because I had a big imagination. And basically that's what happened.
Right.
Like about 2 years after he lost all the black hair, it traveled down the back of his head because the front was white. It was like, oh man, and he passed away. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But the point is, you never think you're going to find yourself in a certain situation, because when he started to walk a certain way, it almost began to be a shuffle. And it was just much too young, because he passed away at 74. But I also tie this into, not that he was stressed, because he was his own man. He was very strong in his heart and in his demeanor and in his conviction, but he still had to deal with things that were an insult as a black man, regardless that he was from Jamaica. I think that him being from Jamaica and coming to America, well, he was in America from the 40s, right? But he didn't have the mindset like, oh, I'm a victim type thing. Not that I'm saying my brothers and sisters here are, but it didn't hit him as much. If you're outside waiting in the cold for 10 minutes for me to come out and take you in the car, when I get out there from the warm house, I don't feel that cold as much as you did who already been there. So it was those kind of things. But then after a while, he was insulted in certain ways that he did not take anything from anybody. But I remember at one point when he was declining, but still working, there was a person who was a partner in this architectural firm where we maintained the floors there. And he said something disrespectful to him. And this was had to be like 1985, 84, around in there. And I was, a physical specimen. Something to, I said, excuse. And my father was, and he walked away before my father could straighten him out, because my father didn't have no back down to his last days. But I remember him walking away, and I followed him in his office, and I said, don't you ever, you insult him, you insult me.
Right.
Because he watched him get older. He wouldn't dare say anything like that to him 10 years earlier. You know what I mean? I said, this is me now.
Right.
And you go, you apologize to him right now. He says, well, who the hell do you think you are? You're going to come in my office and whatever. So I slammed the door and I locked up in there with him. I said, listen, I'm going to show you right here and now without much noise. I don't care. You can go call the police if you want. I use some words. I said, you're going to go out there and you're going to show my father some respect.
That's right.
You knew him more than he is, and all of a sudden you want to shit on him. You go out there and you apologize to him.
Right.
And my father was angry, but he was like, didn't want to make a scene, because my father at that point could have still whipped his ass. And the guy was giving me these looks, whatever. See, I don't have that I can't talk to a white man in power type chip inside. I understand everybody's position, but if you violate, I don't care who you are or what the circumstances are. I don't care who's around. I'm going to straighten you out, not only for my father or me, but for anybody that you're trying to crap on, and it's unnecessary. So he went out there and he felt threatened. And I don't know what he told everybody else, but they looked at me like I'm a monster. Well, I'll be the monster. You're not going to do that. But like I said, the decline was something that affected me, but I never forgot it. And to me, it was like, even in this age, I compare it to my parents. I'm not a word to say, oh, my mother passed away at 64, my father passed away at 74, whatever. But I'm aware, and I've taken care of myself, and I wanted to remove myself from that place.
Right.
Because in America, no matter what, it doesn't mean that Accra, Ghana is the best place in the world. It is for me. But to be out of that added years onto my life.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
just
yeah.
Being here, which they're little amendment. There's no Walmart's 24/7. They have some stores that are 24/7. You got to get to them on the other side of town. But for the most part, being out of that overall raises my score higher. So as I do begin to feel not a decline, but my overall feeling, I have a lot of vitality, virility, all this stuff, but I could feel that slight pull of time on me. And so this is what makes me know that it's time to shift gears. It's time to easy before you're forced to take it easy. So I can eke out good work in my 60s, going into my 70s, reaching for 80 and beyond.
That's
I want to be like one of those CEOs who, he's a C. I'm not saying a CEO in a white company. I'm saying at the point where this CEO is 87 years old and still puts the suit on and goes to work and makes decisions. You don't have to lift anything heavy, but your mind now, let your mind have it where it's respected and powerful. And in the creative field, you can do that until the day you die. So that's the shift that I'm making within myself. So I don't wear myself down thinking I'm still in a system where I have to be this big buck strong. You know, they look at you that way, but they don't really want your intelligence, even if you have a degree, which I don't. But I'm going to do this and still maintain my strength. If somebody wants to try me at 70, they might get me, but they're going to try at any point. Because it's the spirit of the person. But then now for you,
yes,
I don't know if her spirit is broken or somewhat weighed down a
she
bit.
has no spirit. She don't know any damn thing.
That hurts you the most.
Yes, she does not. She is reliving some trauma from the past that none of us knew had happened to her. And she screams all night, all day. Scream at the top of her lungs. All night, all day.
Wow.
She won't eat anymore.
You just interject really quick. Who is this fool in here dropping all of this stuff inside on Facebook?
Who this? Oh, on Facebook.
I'm going to actually go to Facebook. You don't do that here. You just don't do that. You don't just come here. Are you struggling to increase store traffic? Here are the tried tests and spam, but I'm going to block that person on Facebook.
Are you serious?
You'll find any damn way. It's like you done sealed up the house in the summertime. The screens are working right. Ain't no holes in the screen. You enjoyed some watermelon. There's sugar in your veins. All of a sudden, you wake up and you got all these mosquito bites in the middle of the night. Like, how the hell did he get in here? So I'm going in here on my phone.
Right.
It's ridiculous. The YouTube.
Oh dear, who is
Sybil?
Okay. My mom is 48. She recently caught her man with her neighbor. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That can't be good.
This is in the comment section. Let me oh wow. Hold on a minute. Yeah, and you see, we're gonna get to the topic. We're just kind of
we're just kind of talking this thing, but you know what?
Yeah, but Sybil, this whole thing is your mom is 48, and I don't know, the mental makeup, her psychological propensities or whatever. But that's a rough age, regardless if they were married or okay, you said her man, so okay, but that's her man. Might as well be married, right? Whatever. You're 48 with a man. That's different than being 19 with a man. Because when you're 19, say, listen, nigga, get on out of here. I get somebody else.
That's right.
At 48, depending on who she is, she might be a very young 48. She might be a 48 that, okay, I'm settled in. I'm not looking to, when you take away I have the potential to date someone, or I'm not leaning in on this relationship as much because it's not as established, you still like, okay, this can happen where we break up. But then if she's settled in, like this is forever, we'll get married, but we're so connected that he ain't going nowhere. And you get like that and relax. And then he does that at 48. Now, the longer that they were together is the more that's going to hurt. And it also depends on not just the age, but are they both gainfully employed equally? Is he the one who's making the most money and she's dependent on him? That would be another concern. If she's making most of the money or doing her own thing and he's just her man who comes by to visit, then it's not going to hurt as much. But there's other factors. But at 48, as you're approaching your 50s, you want to kind of sort of know that what you're in is going to be something potentially to last the forever that we say. We say forever, it might be 23 years, 40 years, 2 years. We don't know. It's nice to say forever, right? So the dating scene these days is when you get to a certain age and you're out of it, it can seem to be like so hostile. It's a whole new thing. It's a whole new dynamic. And that's the kind of thing that hurts too, because we don't think about, oh, I'm going to jump into something right away. But when you're, okay, put it this way. I'm going to say it like this. It's abstract, but I'm going to tie it together. When you break up or you find yourself in a position where you're thinking that you're not going to be with your mate like that, and it hurts, and you have other questions. Who is it? Where did you do it? What does she look like? Does she look better than me? Is there something that's not right with me? All these things come in your head.
You start questioning everything. Yeah.
And you feel like, and I'm gonna say the N-word just for effect, y'all. You feel like that nigga on the couch that just got thrown out because you were there at the good graces of your friend and you don't have no money. So now you're, oh God, I just got thrown out. I don't have no money to go anywhere. But if you have your money, symbolic money, not just money, but if you're equipped where, okay, I got money, I got a potential place that I paid down on and I'm supposed to be there next week, but I'm good. But if this thing happens and you're in any kind of vulnerable position, not only does it hurt, but it the fear, yes, we do feel fear, especially the unexpected. Because one moment to the next, life can change on so many different levels. And this is why at this point in my life, I appreciate every single day and I walk sure-footedly. I make sure symbolically that when I cross the street, I'm looking both ways. I make sure, that if I'm in one of these Trocho vans, I'm going to sit near the front. So if he starts driving stupid, I'm going to grab that steering wheel and threaten him. You know what I mean? I make sure, and it still is not going to stop something from happening. So we can't go and live life with fear, but take your time and move sure-footedly and make sure before you get in any relationship, any financial situation or anything that you cross every T and dot every I and read the fine print.
That's right. But what she just said here is that her mom's 48 and the gentleman friend is 38. And God forbid the neighbor is 28. Now there you got some, that's fucked up. Yeah. Because even if even if the mother is a young looking 48, she's not looking like 28. She's not acting like 28. You know what I'm saying? There is a let's call it what it is. It is what it is. So that's gonna mess her up. It will if she's not a strong person. Hi, Ruben. Yes. If she's not mentally strong, if she's not confident in herself and who she is as a person, it's gonna mess her up because it probably meant the world to her to know that a man that age found her attractive and desirable and all of those wonderful things, and now this.
Yeah. Wow.
That's rough. That's rough.
The mind of I'm not saying her specifically, but in the back of the mind of many women who will date a younger man, that is one of the boxes that have to be checked off in the back of her mind. There's nothing that he can answer or reassure her on because that's always going to be hanging over her head. Not that she's insecure, but these younger women out here now, especially like she's 48. This is just by example. This is not written in stone. We're just using this example to make an example. But she's 48, he's 38, and let's say the other woman there was 28 or younger. That stab wound is not like a stab wound where you get stabbed symbolically and it gets pushed in your gut and pulled out. That kind of stab wound is where it's getting pushed in your gut. What am I thinking about? And that's nothing I demand out of a woman, right?
It's a good thing I wasn't drinking anything. You just made me spit out my spit.
I've been messing up like that. The other day I said something about my feet getting wet or my feet getting someone on a video and I slipped. I don't know. I hope I'm not slipping like that where I start doing some of these shows and start getting like Ronald Reagan and talking out my head in a live broadcast, right? No. That's rough. Pushing a knife in somebody's butt. I'm quite sure in our world history, somehow, somewhere, somebody got mad and did that. I mean, the gut is one thing, but I mean, the anus, all the nerve endings, and you push a knife in there? How do you get away from that? But then
you again, are such a mess.
No, that was I didn't even like make a fake mistake to get a laugh. That was the real. I said pushed in your butt. And I'm looking at this banner.
I needed this laugh. Oh God, I needed this. You
Like
don't
that,
even understand.
Ah,
I couldn't tell the last time I spit out anything. I spit out my spit because I could not believe what you
on
just.
four corner room doing live streams. For real. I sit in satellite. So outside, you know, here they come. Just like I figured. YouTube police. Doing the butt, right, Romy? That's the classic one, right? While
Oh
they do
my
that, the little porno distributor
gosh.
in the room, they say while they're laughing, let me.
Oh my
Okay, where
God.
you go?
That's
There they
hilarious.
go. Block user. There's a little porno distribution bot, you know. But here it is.
Oh golly,
Here it is.
wow.
Yeah, right? Got it ready to wake up. Oh, okay. Here's
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I cried my eyes out yesterday because me and my kid's father had been on a rocky road also. We have 4 kids, 6-year relationship, no support from his family. I want to co-parent, but we have small kids. That's a damn shame.
It is.
Like I'm saying.
Sybil, sweetie, listen.
We're going to talk about that. No, we can talk about it now. I'm just saying that I want to dedicate a show to that type of situation.
Yes.
Necessarily using you as a dyed-in-the-wool cemented example, but you know, when you see something, you're like, wow, that's something that we need to talk about. You know, and if you ever wanted to come in, I mean, you don't have to say exactly. I'm not trying to exploit you, but if you ever wanted a platform to share that, and that would draw other people that may have gone through the same situation, solution out of it or come out of it, because that's a very hurting thing, but you don't have to. We don't require that. And I do thank you for sharing what you're going through, because that's how real things could be out here in the world, where when we go to the mall sometime, everybody's smiling and fronting and got Lamborghini keys and tons of money and the credit card always. But if we're going through stuff, it seems like the whole world is getting along just fine, but there's a lot of people out here fronting. So one of the things in healing for you, Sid, you're acknowledging it. And if you ever wanted to talk or come on, or we do something on a private tip, you know, we can do that.
Yeah.
Or we'll just talk about it overall and have other people chime in from their experiences where they want to be, you know, faceless or to the name, whatever degree of anonymity that you want on this program. You know, if you want to put out certain things, but don't say it's you, you just tell it to us and we'll cover those points. But we will do a show like that. And if anybody else hears this, email us at lance@lancecurd.com for those type of show topics, or any kind of show topic that is so surgical. We have to go in with surgical precision. That is so direct, not just an overall talk show thing. Because a lot of talk shows, they get so like general, and they do it for an hour and they're off. Like if I have to do a show, which this show is not going to be long, I will come back and we'll go at it longer in some kind of way. And I just want to say, Mia Meow last night. She did call me. Yeah. And I was so tired I had to go to bed. But I let everything auto record. She said, okay. Whoa, if you hear that.
Really?
Rapid fire.
What?
Whoa. And she said some things. I'm not going to be able to put that on YouTube, but I put it on the site.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna have to look over my shoulder. And I'm out here in Africa, right? But I'm going to put it up, but it's going to be on the site. So you will not see it on YouTube. It won't be ready probably until later on.
Hold on.
But yeah, sure. So these are the things we need to attack. And these are the things we need to talk about as they come up. Because these are real life things that most people, when they're in their little track in life where they don't look left or right, you get up, go to work, come home, go to the store, have your circle of friends, repeat the process. We don't see these things or feel these things that others are feeling until we have to go through it ourselves. So I try to always keep an open ear and an open eye for whoever, not even just for show purpose, but just to encourage somebody sometime. Because I do a lot of that. I see people in situations, and it's not always, oh, you need to come on the show. No, I don't do that. If they know what I do and they want to come, feel free. You know what I mean? So that's what we do. Because you know what? A situation like this is not uncommon. You know, but a lot of folks and other platforms don't talk about it. And yes, they do have some that talk about it, but they kind of exploit the situation. Like they exploit for hits. Like we have a title of this show, and we haven't touched it yet. But as real life things come up, we freestyle. You know, and I was up early, and I still have to go out and do some things. But this weekend, I want to have these kind of laid back shows, like not even like pushing it out there. We're going to talk about this, but we will put it out there, you know, and talk about some things. So we all relaxed and laid back right now. That's the way I want to get into it, because you can get into it better instead of, you know, because we laugh and we joke a lot of times. And sometimes that can take away from really getting in on a topic and really marinating on the thing for a good long while. But yeah, okay. She's sick of young men. Well, you know, young men, older men, not to take the weight off of the younger men, because and not to defend them. No, I'm not, but I'm just assessing the situation. I don't know how I would have fared in this particular time period if I was, let me pull it back way back to a younger age, right? If I was 20 years old right now, if I was 19 years old, because my 19 was a little more mature than most with the training and stuff like that, but I had no discipline with women. And if I had these Instagram pictures in my face where you can contact these people, which I was never a predator. People came to me. I didn't really run to them. Not that I was that bad, but that was a time. But as accessible as some of these women are, the way they know how to take care of themselves, but sometimes use their bodies as a weapon, weaponized femininity. You know what I mean? And I wasn't a weak young man. I was very disciplined, like I'm very disciplined right now. But nah, they didn't. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, you had some well-built women who had that warmth and that charm and that thing about them overall that was very attractive to me. But right now, it just seems like, and I'm not throwing off on all women, I'm going to say it this way, that many of our women have become plastic, going for the strategy on how to extract the money from the man. Not all, but some, knowing how men think to go after them by becoming what they want in their fantasy in a cold, venomous way, sometimes with a little hurt. And that's even worse. When you have a intelligent, beautiful woman who has gone the weaponized way, where I'm coming after you for what I can get, or you're not going to get me. I'm going to get you before you get me. And this is not saying all men are innocent, because you're going to say, well, men are like that too. Let's take that away. Let's just say, for that young man who doesn't think that way, who thinks he's going into something pure, but he's dealing with this weaponized woman, her body, her mind, or everything feminine about her is amped and jacked. Like when they say in bodybuilding where a guy's on steroids, he's jacked, he's juiced. But everything about her, but it's premeditated. It's designed to suck that man's soul. And I don't mean just sexually, but just get him. I was always smart, but I would not be ready for this. And I may be coming up in this time, I'd be equipped. But it's like a dead exchange now. There's no soul to it. Let me tell you something. When you take your last little bit of money, I mean like 14, 15, whatever you saved up, and you take this young lady out on a date, 16 years old, you take this young lady out on a date, and you really like her. And she's really, no matter what she looked like, I mean, she keeps herself nice, she looks nice. But you open up, or you have blinders like, wow, I want to be with her. I want her to be my girlfriend. And you look at everything about her, and she's beautiful, and you're not going to violate her. You see her feminine parts, but that doesn't even cross your mind. You want to romance her. You want to be with her. You want to hold her hand. At the end of the night, when she gives you a kiss on the cheek where the corners of your lips overlap and the lips touch like 3 or 4 millimeters and is wet and moist with her saliva, you don't want to wipe that off. You feel a shock through you. Those type of men like that, they get destroyed these days if they're looking for that. Not that it doesn't exist, because on both sides of what I will call the game, you have to take time with a person to really see who and what they are as far as their intentions, because we can sometimes superimpose our thoughts as a template over what they really are. See, and we think they're this innocent person, but they're a roughneck with a long resume and a rap sheet. Not that I'm demonizing these types of women, because a lot of them feel justified because they've been hurt. And they may not have taken time to say, you know what, let me back away from this. Because I'll tell you, and I know it, sisters, no matter what you wear, no matter how you feel, you can have a scarf on your head with rollers. You could be on that time of the month with diarrhea. You know what I mean? You could be walking out there with morning breath. There's always some dude that's going to try to hit on you. And it makes most women feel disgusted. Like, do they ever damn stop? It's like Dead or Night of the Living Dead. You inside your house and all these zombies try to smash through the door and the windows. Like, leave me alone. Or you, even at the red light, you know, you might be crossing the street and there's this old geezer looking at you. It's like, damn, you too.
Right.
For many women, there's not much expectation of integrity with most men. So now you'll have a woman who comes onto this channel.
Yeah.
And they never been here before. And I might be in full sexual mode joking. Oh, he's another one like that. Then they'll come back again like, wait a second. I've had this happen many times. Like, Lance, so deep. But the other day we're talking about booties and I'm like, listen, you don't know the full range of me, because anybody who gets around me in real life and we know each other a certain way is just always respect. I would never. I'm almost shy when they say, remember that joke? I was like, oh man, you bringing that one up, whatever. It's a different side. But when I'm amped up and we're doing our thing, you all know, you know what I mean? That I get a lot of satisfaction from these type of conversations. I'm not saying I don't like those other ones, but I'm not in that deep. I resurrect that side of me for the sake of those laughs, to know that, yeah. And many people who are here who are living very decent, conservative, reserved lives, they don't go there in their mind at time, but we all remember things when we were young and dating and little sexual things happen or whatever have you. I like to go there.
Right.
I don't just come out of nowhere. You know, the other day when I was thinking, I had this chick's thighs wrapped around my head. I'm not gonna shock you like that. We're gonna gradually. That's why I say you're gonna amp me up. You really want it? You want me to go that mode? And Ella throw a rock and be like, pow, yeah, go ahead, and I'm behind the tree. And put me out there like that. But if the room is not feeling that, then I kind of
we gonna make the room feel it.
No, see, you want to do that while you hold the popcorn.
we make
like I was taking my medication. You
I know you're bipolar, and you threw the medication behind the fridge.
You tick me off, right? I can't find the medication, and I'm catching these little mood swings, and I'm sitting here. Listen, I don't take the medication. I'm just saying, it's a symbolic way.
Anyways, we're joking. We're joking.
Crazy. No, I ain't gonna lie. There are people I've known, like out in the street, like neighbors or something. They didn't went out there and they didn't have a word for it, like bipolar back in the day, but they like went off, and I was right there behind the Venetian blinds looking. I mean, as a kid, you laugh at something. Man, she don't realize he's hanging out.
Oh my God, that's terrible. It's I look at these. I look at the comments. And it's not like I didn't go through situations in my relationship. I went through a lot of different changes, good and bad, bad and good, both sides of the fence. People screw up, especially when you start out young and, you are growing into yourself with that person. But then, you share children. You can't just get up and, say, you know what, screw this, screw that. I'm out. At least for me, that was me. And I've already said that on numerous occasions. We try to work and make things work and do what we had to do for the kids. Now that I'm the age I am right now, and I'm looking back at my life, and I'm just saying it for anybody else who's sitting here listening, if it makes any sense to them or not. Now that I'm looking back and I'm looking at things that should have happened and things that shouldn't have happened and so on and so forth, I'm at a place in my life now where I'm like, I want what I want. Period. I want what I want. I'm not settling for less than what I want. And sometimes I feel like I should have wanted what I wanted years ago, but I can't go back and change that.
But
Hmm?
that's a
Yeah,
common feeling. That's a common
yeah,
thought.
yeah,
Because look, hindsight is 2020,
yeah.
but anything that benefits you, and I'll say that to the folks that are younger,
Mm-hmm.
um, anything that benefits you and you want to go out and achieve that, don't let anybody stop you. If it's something
Yeah,
that you do that's within um, a sound mind, right? Because sometimes,
right.
like I said, you have that little 5'3" Korean dude who's like 38 years old. I want to be in the NBA. Well, you're kind of up there in age, and your height ain't really, you know what I mean? Like, but it was something that really, truly does it for you,
Right.
you know, and you want to do this and need to do this. There's no man, there's no relationship, and I'm a man
Yeah.
saying this.
Right.
They cannot satisfy that part of you that you need to pursue and satisfy yourself with. There's things inside of me at this ripe old age, which I go ha 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 because I got a lot of juice left in my fruit. I don't care of the chronological number. Life force in which you approach what you do.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that I want to do. There are a lot of things that I am doing now. This is why it's hard for me to get to sleep when I'm working on the website. That's something that I like to do. I like to draw. I
Yeah.
want to get back into training again. For me, not any competition. I'd be foolish to run and try to run myself down like that, even though I did it naturally still, you know, but I'll do it. If I start looking good like that, well, maybe I'll, you know, but that's not what I'm thinking. And on that tip, like when I started training, it wasn't like I'm going to go up on stage. It just hits you that you look good enough to go on stage and you start doing it. Now you're on a whole different level.
You start doing it. Exactly. Yeah.
When you, using that example, when you think of something that you'd like to do, you might sit up at night and see a couple of baking shows or baking competitions. You know, they have the food channel and they have these things. You say, man, kind of you say, I'm not far off from that. Doesn't mean you want to go on there right now, but let that stoke the fires and passion inside you to motivate and do that thing that brings you joy. Because when you get to a certain age, you know what I mean?
Listen to, just read what this Jethro Mullet person just
the
wrote.
biggest issue is that women want to be able to move around like men, not be judged. Women want to have a ton of sexual partners like men, but hate to be called promiscuous. Well, I got to ask Jethro, what kind of women do you circulate around? You know what I mean? That might be your experience.
Right.
But can I ask you something? Is that something that your mother did? I'm not being funny.
See, he's being disrespectful because now he says to Naima, you know, he's gonna ask Naima if she didn't cheat or she just didn't get caught. That's being disrespectful. I mean,
yeah. Serious. And to come out like that's a venomous man. And before I, do the steamroll thing,
I think we need to. I don't think we need to.
For the sake of the show and looking at things like this, sometimes you need to let a fool, confirm that he is a fool, because that's a very narrow-minded way of looking at things. Like, I mean, if I go to another city that I don't know and they drop me into a downtrodden neighborhood where things happen and I get robbed and beaten in the head and try to mess with this chick and I got herpes now and all the food joints are like fried up and bad food, but then I'm going to say to myself, oh, that city's nothing. But did you travel to the other parts of the city? So you can come into a chat room and not even say, and this is why I always
don't even say hello.
Exactly. No, but that's what they do, because you see a person like this is in great pain and they can't, and it just come out with paragraphs, and you're going to say, well, you know what? No. This is a study and he's here for a reason. And I'm glad he's here, not because I want to amp up and have some battle going on, but this shows you how a lot of men think. And men like this will die lonely, die by themselves. And this is why porn was created, because at least they can get a physical sensation before they go to bed. But at nighttime, they're going to have to take some Viagra before they masturbate, because the thing is so limp, because they're only focusing on the one thing. And if they got burnt, look, I've gotten burnt. Y'all know it. I was with somebody for years and came home and dude was stroking and she wanted me to see it and I handled it. And if I let that moment destroy me, where I am today, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today because I have tremendous insight. I love women. there are some that are wayward. There are some that may be wayward now that may not be wayward. We're all on a journey.
Right.
But what kind of journey did you have? If that's all you can say about women, that's why I asked you, was your mother that way? How was your relationship with your mother? Did you have a relationship with your mother? The relationship that I had with my mother will always have me seeing the good side of women. Yes, I know there's some conniving, gold digging, cheating, whatever. I know something like that. I even know a couple of women like that who, when you dig deep, they had some issues from young who happened to be very nice. I have a friend of mine who, whenever she's within 6 feet of a penis, whether it's a stranger penis, it's a matter of time before she has it in her mouth. And she opens it up. She opens up to me like, Lance, you know, I did it again. And she's a very nice person.
Right.
Heart. She's not.
That's her weakness. That's her weakness.
Exactly. Because, and I've helped her.
Things that have happened.
I don't have the skills of a Sister Sandra Hinton, but I was, look, back a couple decades ago, you know, she kind of gargled my stuff. You know what I mean? But I saw past that. And I would still hang out with her after a while and nothing happened. But we talk. She's fun to be around, whatever. She just can't help it. And I've helped her to understand why. Right. So we're friends to this day. As a matter of fact, the other night we were on FaceTime speaking and having a good time. We don't even talk about anything like that. You know what I mean? And she was planning on getting busy with somebody the next day. She met at the hospital. I was like, oh my God. You know, we're laughing about it. And she laughs about it because it's an impulse that she hasn't gotten over yet. But does that mean she's angry? I'll give her my last time. Am I a simp? I'm not looking for anything before. Right. If anything, I got it already. I know what she's like. Okay. We have a lot of good memories together. Otherwise, as friends. Right. So we just throw some, or just women. Either they didn't get caught yet, or they're all whores now. Yo, you need to heal yourself, brother.
You know, I'm gonna say this, and it sounds terrible. It might sound terrible. Think about life, right? We come into this world alone. We leave this world alone, right? But in between the coming into this world and the leaving this world alone, we get attached to people who and situations that then wants to define your existence on this plane while you're here.
Right.
You understand? Now, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have this conversation and that wouldn't even come out my mouth, because as far as I'm concerned, whoever I'm with you, you're with me, and it's supposed to work a certain way. It's not supposed to work any other way. And I still haven't gotten past that, but I'm just looking at things in a realistic, rational way. And the question is, and anybody want to answer that, they can answer, what gives any of us, not that we don't feel it, not that we don't want exclusivity, but what really gives any one of us the right to determine or to tell somebody, this is how you have to live all your life?
Right. But see, here's the thing. You have the right to decide that for yourself. Someone else feels that way about their life, then now you can begin your journey if you both so desire to do so.
Right.
But too many of us, like you said, basically feel they have the right to tell you what you have to do. Right. But I'm not going to stop with my personal opinion, which I always say your personal facts, but you're just being polite by saying, you know, I have no problem with that. But, you know, in your own world, you define what must be done. So instead of imposing your view on someone else who either, number one, doesn't want to be bothered with that or can't even comprehend it at this point, you're wasting your time and you're concerned over something that it's in an area of concern, but it's not your area of influence. What? Put your hands out wherever you're sitting down, one side to the next. What can you touch? What's around you? Now, there may be something an inch beyond what you can touch. That's an area of concern, but you don't have any influence over that. I'm sitting by a table, computers around me. I can touch all these things. Right. Something across the side of the room, I'm going to have to come out of my little zone here and go over there and deal with it. But in life, I try to deal with what my area of influences. What can I personally influence?
Right.
And that's when we get messed up in life. We start getting concerned over things that we cannot influence.
Right.
So now when you come into a chat room, yeah, you can express your opinion. But when you do it in a way where all women do this and all men do that,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Now there's a problem because you're lumping everybody into the same,
Right. I remember
pile.
Ali saying that when he got Parkinson's, it was a blessing. You got to be a deep thinker to say, what the hell? Why would you say this? Because he couldn't say no to the women. It's well documented.
Right.
I knew an older woman who, her claim to fame is that she slept with Muhammad Ali. I knew another woman who her claim to fame was that, she said she dated Mike Tyson, but there was no official whatever. They might have had a rendezvous a couple nights or a night. But what I'm saying is that they are out there. And
yeah, I know.
So many people who they base their existence on that. And him saying that, what he really meant was that it forced him to not think in that mode. Because there are as even older men can't detach ourselves from that mode of thinking that we feel like an old fighter who thinks he can win the championship, who thinks he can beat all the fighters that are currently out there until you come back and realize you can't. And look at all the older men who come back or never left the game that they were playing earlier and realize they can't hang. Like for me, I'm loving this period more. And I was never a predator on women, but my mind is not, I can talk and like, okay, let's say you take I always use boxer, take an old fighter and he's 20 years past retirement. He ain't kicking nobody's behind. The average guy can beat him. But when the fight is there going on that he's watching, he's in the audience and they give him his props and yes, we have Muhammad, and then he does a little shadow box and everybody stands up, yay! But he ain't hurt nothing. Respect.
Right.
So respect yourself and realize it's time to bow out. Even if you can take a blue pill and keep your penis working, you know what I mean? For a little longer, mean you should be there. Like for me, this is one of the sweetest periods of my life because I ain't the man that I used to be. And I'm happy to say that because I'm out of the game, but that makes me know, listen, you don't punch as hard as you used to. So why are you going to go fight these guys?
Right.
You know what I mean? A little bit goes a long way. A little something here. Yeah, I'm all right for the next couple of days or whatever, next week or whatever. Back then, I might have been all right for the next 5 minutes, which kept my mind locked in on something because I wasn't a slave to my loins. And I have to give props to that phrase. I got it back in 1979. There was a teacher in the High School of Art and Design. Her name was Miss Frazier. And there was a guy always coming into class late, and that her particular art class. And she didn't care. She used to come to school with the little boom boxes and stuff, and good times. And she's an older woman, a big fake wig, but she was so real. I would love for her to be on this podcast if she's still with us. But the guy came in late. He said, "You got one more time to come in late on my class." And she looked at the class and said, "He just a slave to his loins." I was like, I'm not going to forget that for the rest of my life. I have half of my friends saying that. Like even when I was younger, like, Lance, you just a slave to your loins.
But you've been freed now, haven't you?
Yeah, but loins always have an effect. The mental loins, to a point. You know what I mean? You get a wave of invincibility and like, not that you're out there looking at the menu, but it's like, and it goes away quick. Like, I don't want to be bothered with that. That's just too. Go on, draw a picture, write an article, and do a live stream. You know what I mean? So that's the way it is.
It's Sissy 99. She made some comments and she's right too. She said, "Hurt people. Only self-aware people have the ability of introspection and accept that they're not perfect and are willing to always compromise in a committed relationship for mutual benefit." And then she writes below that, "Nobody wants to compromise for a person to burn you further down the line. It's too risky for some people." Right.
Well,
right.
I can't argue anything she said. She just spoke truth right there. Again, hurt people. Only self-aware people have the ability of introspection and accept that they are not perfect and are willing to always compromise in a committed relationship for mutual benefit. That's a beautiful thing. If most people weren't driving such a hard bargain while they're in a relationship, right? I mean, things would work out. Like, imagine you get to a gridlock situation.
Right.
On the road, and it's rush hour, this ambulance coming through or whatever, and you're sitting there and it's deadlocked. But then you get to that intersection and you come back 15 minutes later, everything's running smooth. And you're like, why was I so upset that it was deadlocked and it appeared that it wasn't going to move? See, somebody had to give in that traffic situation and something had to give.
Yeah.
So still, like what she said with compromising, always compromising a committed relationship for mutual benefit. It benefits you to compromise. So if we both give into that spirit of compromise, we'll be all right. If you're in a relationship and there are two givers, oh my God, that's gotta be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But the takers swoop down on the givers and suck the givers dry when they don't have nothing to give for a while.
Indeed.
And they don't want to give. But it's a beautiful thing. I know relationships where you have two givers. Now they know how to receive because they know they got to receive to give. Let the giver. Boy, I ain't just talking about sex now. I'm talking about just, honey, I made this dinner for you. Well, sweetheart, I bought your favorite outfit. Honey, I did. It's not about buying or just always, but when you vibrate in that manner. So know that there's a joy of me giving to you. It doesn't even mean give material. It may be where you're hugging and you're giving them the encouraging word and then they're receiving, but they know they got something to give.
Right.
Whoa, that's beautiful. A 69 ain't good when one person's doing all the work. I had to bring it around and shock people.
You know, sometimes the other person just can't work.
Because it's too good.
you gotta have a heart.
It's like, sweetheart, there's nothing I want to sound. I can't do anything right now. It's just too good. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Okay.
You gotta have a heart and some understanding.
Wow. Rita Marie is on the drive home.
How you doing, hon?
But Kwame, let me just say, Kwame, it's not always that way.
It's not always that way. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. There, I'm not saying that there's no validity to that statement to a point, but there are some situations, and I don't even know the proportions to tell you, but there are situations where, like, I've known guys that have gone through life situations they really learned, and that situation burned through their need to cheat, because a lot of times it's not defending it, but that's another show we need to talk about, another angle of cheating. Not you cheating, no, but another angle of it.
But we kind of did that the other day, didn't we? I mean, when we talked about why do women cheat, because Mrs. Scurv did one, why do men cheat, or why do, something on that line. And then we did one, why do women cheat? And we kind of talked about the emotional aspect of it, not just, oh, you're going to cheat because you can't control your desires or something like that. It's too complicated an issue to just throw it into, women are cheats, or
one category,
once a cheat, always a cheat. That's not true. That is not ever true.
It's not always a venomous, person.
No.
We could be hurting in ways that have nothing to do with cheating.
Right.
But we grab onto a situation because we're on fire from something else. Not all the time. There's some men and some women who that's just, they get off on that. They enjoy that. And I personally have tasted that feeling in the past. But remember, a major long-term relationship for me was twisted.
Right.
I'm gonna say twisted, but she liked to see me with different women. So that used to mess with the traditional side of me.
Yeah.
At a particular point in my young life, I was like, whoa, I'm kind of liking this, right? But it broke down the barriers of normalcy for me. So getting back into, subsequently later on, one-on-one relationships, to be turned on, I had to think about them extracurricular things.
Right.
See what I mean? But why do most people do that? It's not because all the time where they can't change. If they can discover what it is that causes them to do that. There are a lot of women and a lot of men who have felt shortchanged in relationships and this is not the only reason, I'm just throwing a few things out there, and they feel that getting a little extra, and it may not even be a relationship thing for them. It might be something from childhood, which usually that's the case, and it may not be related to sex molestation.
Right.
It's almost like there was one woman I had a deep conversation with a long time ago. It was back in the 80s before any of this stuff was going on. And she was telling me that she grew up, and this is by no means thrown off on military families, but she grew up in a military family. She lived in Germany. She lived here in Hong Kong and all kind of places all over the world. And every time she was in school, she would begin to bond with her students, her classmates, and then she had to go.
Right.
But it wasn't like, sometimes the longest stretch was like 2 years or something like that. But her father was some special kind of higher up that he had to move around more than just being deployed just here or there or whatever. So she would grab on to whatever she can grab on to at the moment, enjoy it, and not think that it was going to last forever, which you don't have to grab on, but experience things. But with her now, the way it affected her relationships, she would try to get into relationships that were long-term. Now she's on her time now. There's no military. The parents were still alive, but she had that feeling in the back of the head that this is not going to be around in a year. So she would do other things with other men and not really feel anything from it. Like she would just do this, and while she was doing it,
I'm sorry. So sorry. I'm so sorry to cut you, but Kwame, what universe do you live in? What world are you living in, my brother? Seriously. I'm going to be unapologetic that those who deceive others should be killed.
You mean in a relationship type of way? I mean, because we have people who deceive us in stores, and they charge us like a couple more than what,
he's speaking from his level, from whatever level of hurt he felt,
right.
and you can't say stuff like that.
Well, I mean, he did, but so Kwame, like so basically you're admitting that you were really hurt. You're extremely hurt, and you probably haven't
He
healed from
hasn't
that.
gotten over it. That's the thing. He has not processed it, and he hasn't gotten over it. And that is where a lot of the comments that he makes is coming from, because he's still truly hurt, which is understandable.
Well, I mean, there's some things that hurt me from my past. You know what I mean?
Okay, look at your situation. Look at your situation. Case in point, your situation that you experienced, that you walked in. I mean, it's one thing to find out that the person that you're with was cheating on you or lied to you, because he said the person lied and told them that they were single when in fact they weren't. Right? That's I get it. I can empathize with his hurt, because we've all experienced hurt on some level, right? But look at your situation. Your situation was one that if you had reacted in an extreme manner, you would not be on this podcast, live show, whatever you want to refer to it as. You would not be here having this conversation with us, because number one, it could have been a kill 3 situation. It could have been a kill 2, wind up in jail for the rest of your life situation. It could have been any number of things.
You wouldn't be here. Exactly.
See,
you got to rewire yourself, my brother, because you're not going to enjoy anything in the future if your mind is so caught up in the past. And the past doesn't mean that it won't hurt, because I'll say it this way. Mrs. Scurv revealed things that happened to her in her childhood in one of her shows. I never pushed her to say that. She always said she wanted to say, and she didn't get graphic or anything like that. She hasn't even gotten graphic in what she explained to me, but I know what it is, because I can tell by what she said, what she didn't say, because she's just not like that. But she revealed those things, and there was an aunt, and I hope you listen. I can't stand you for saying this, that once she found out what Mrs. Scurv went through, she tried to brush it over and say, "Oh, that's the past. That's a long time ago." Look, the frustration and pain may be reduced. I'm not saying it was a molestation situation, Kwame, that you've been through. I'm just comparing situations because that, to me, when a young girl is molested, we all have to agree that's worse than a woman hurting you as an adult. But it's still pain. I'm going to say, because it depends on the individual how they process pain. So the pain that you've been through from something happening to you as an adult might be more severe than the person who been through something at a young age who healed from it because of the support system and upbringing. We can't compare pains that way, but chances are, for the most part, there's not a grown man who can say, well, my pain is worse than that young girl who was helpless and being sexually molested 99% of the time. I don't think there's a man who would even say that, or if he could, wouldn't even want to say that. But that aunt who dismissed her pain. That how inconsiderate you are. And there are other members in her family who I won't mention, who are up in age, who basically said, well, it happened to me.
That's what they
said. It happened to me. So she's not a part of it. Happened to me. So I got to go along to get along. This thing, you need to know it. And you, when you were young adults, younger, who could have said or not said, but done something about it, you're really reducing my pain past time, because now you don't want to bear with the responsibility of what you allowed to have happen, that you turned your head on. See, so my thing is that we don't know why. There are some women and men who may get molested, right? I mean, I was with a woman and I made me promiscuous. Let me tell you something. Honestly, as I got into realizing what happened, it kind of turned me on. There are a lot of women and men out here who are forced to do certain things, and that's their first taste of the erotic. If it's not punch you in the face, knock you down, hurt you kind of thing, and you think about it, you're like, man, not that I'm saying that that's healthy, but you have to acknowledge these things. There are a lot of women that I've dealt with. Lance, please, you're so gentle. I don't want you gentle. Choke me, pull my hair, bend me over, grab my hips, and hurt my womb. I'm like, God, dog. But it's not always because you were roughed up, but maybe the first taste of what you did was a little kind of extreme, and that was your first taste. But going back to this whole thing, that's a bit extreme. That means it's still control and power over. I'm not saying this to be or embarrass or come down on you.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's been allowed to fester. But understand, whatever happened to you will always have a victory over your life.
Yeah.
As long as you hold on to it that way. There's no way you're going to bring that mentality, whether you tell the next woman that or not, into a relationship and that relationship remain healthy. How am I going to work in the field all week or work in a mechanic shop with oil and I'm dirty, but I'm invited to a function at night and I just throw on a nice suit and don't wash myself? I'm showing up looking good. Nobody will say anything. What you mean that guy was stinking? He looked good in the picture, but you can't smell the picture. Right? When he shows up, he stinks. I'm not saying you stink, but we carry the residue of the past on us, not even in these situations, but in many situations in life. And we don't get an invite back because we brought all this toxicity with us. It flavors our conversation. It flavors the times that we have, and we can't enjoy ourselves. It flavors everything, and it stops us from moving forward. We got to clean up, and we got to heal. And that's the only way we can enjoy. You're in this present time alive. There are people who are not here who probably wish they had the time that you have. Clear that stuff out, man. Whatever brought you to that point, because life is good. I don't have to worry about certain things. There's things that I've been through that don't even cross my mind now. Maybe for a while it did. There's certain things. So we choose, we become stronger and wiser if we deal with it properly and put it away where it has to go. Doesn't mean you're not going to stop thinking about it. I hear songs that remind me of great times and remind me of very traumatic times emotionally in my life. And I have to listen to the song when it reminds me of the traumatic time. It may be a bittersweet time. It might be a time that eventually turned into something really bad. but we go on, and we get stronger. And
Right.
knowing these things and having a little bit of a taste on the buffet of life makes life in itself and the promise of a new day extremely sweet.
Right. That's true. That's true. You know, you caught me off guard, right?
You're doing something with your hands and very focused on it. I don't know.
No. I was thinking I was looking at the chat and I was
I heard
about
your
to.
hands moving around. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I scratched my head. That's what I
Hear me
did.
out. I have to take my hat off to you.
Oh,
I'm going to process our conversation from last night, and I'll have it up today, and we'll continue on. And I did go to sleep. I did, and you handled it. We have so much more, and she has a heck of a story to tell y'all.
Wow.
A heck of a story.
Wow.
And, your heart's going to go out to her. And we're going to continue on tonight. I have a run to make out a little while later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's talk about the topic a little bit.
Let's talk about the topic a little bit.
And we're going to come back on this because of the time that I have. But no, we're definitely going to come back on this. And what I'll do is guarantee it, because there's going to be somebody in the chat room that says, "Oh, but you didn't talk about the topic." I'm going to use the same title. And I'm going to use the same banner and slap a 2 on there and be like part 2, and we'll jump right on into it.
Do it now.
I guarantee tomorrow. You know,
do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Do the banner now.
Oh, you're right.
Because you know it'll be like,
I'll slap a 2 on it right now. I still got it in front of me. So while we talking, I'll put a big yellow 2 that you can't miss.
Right. No worries, Kwame. No worries. No apologies. We're family here. We're family.
We're not coming down on you, brother.
No.
And still, you know, freely express yourself. Now, if
maybe I was a little more extreme than I should have been, because it kind of shocked me.
You know, if you have any authorities locally looking for you, they say, we got to get them for this. But we know that it was extreme.
Yeah.
You know, some kind of.
We know the hurt. Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, if a person who is like really anal about things and they have authority and in a supermarket and, you know, the kid knocks something off the shelf and something breaks and says, "I'm going to kill you when I get home." Come on. 99.99 it doesn't mean that. It just means that it's an expression of that particular person's feeling, you know.
99.999% of the time they buy their McDonald's before they reach home.
99.999% of the time is because they don't want to cook when they get home.
That's true too. That is absolutely true.
For real.
That is true. All right. Let's touch on this a little bit. So please, what are your thoughts?
Well, there are a lot of hurt men out here, and sometimes the hurt that they got in a period of time in their life when they were extremely vulnerable, it carries over to the time when they're a little more mature and know life a little better. You know, so either we want to avoid it, or we demonize it, or we just say absolutely that this is not something that I want to get involved with, knowing or not really knowing or understanding that their prior hurt or experience was a very unique thing, and that it's not going to be like that anymore. But can you fault a woman who walked down a dark street that she was always feeling safe on, and she got brutally raped and robbed? Now, every time she approaches that street, she'll walk all the way around the other place, which may be well lit. Lots of people, the same thing can happen, but because of her experience, she doesn't want to walk. She's very uncomfortable, and I can understand.
Traumatized by that, yeah.
And so we can't say in a general way, and this is why I say, why do an ever increasing amount of Black men have an ever increasing? I didn't say all Black men. You know, so I'm going to look at the comments sometime when we put these titles up and people run with it because it stoked off something in their mind, and they didn't even read the whole title. They saw what they wanted to see. Yeah. And sometimes I come out and don't doctor it the way I should, because I'm assuming that everybody's going to know what I meant, but I can't assume that, because I get cussed out. I get cussed out in my inboxes, because some people want to cuss me out and not let the world see, like total strangers. You know what I mean? And I'll say it here and now. For those responses, I may start posting them, but not anything that you share me. I would never post anything personal. But those anonymous responses that go for the gusto, and compared to the title and what we talked about, I may share that because we need to see there are people out there that they're in the grass, they're behind the fence, they're up in the tree watching. As soon as the show is over, I'm gonna get him, because sometimes you touch nerves. But that's the thing. A lot of men, because of their childhood and what they saw their parents go through, a lot of our brothers, and I said black men, because there are a lot of men, white men, Asian men, well, maybe it's not as much Asian, but who don't want to for whatever reason. But I'm talking about black men. There's no one monolithic way of saying this is the reason why, because they're varied experiences on a broad scope. Varied experiences on a broad scope. I'm saying that now for those comments that are going to come in the future. So we have the childhood thing. We have ourselves.
Right.
We may have been hurt because we took the cake out the oven too soon, and we weren't complete and ready yet for what was out there. Some guys are, younger. They're more emotionally developed. They may have had parents that explained things to them and prepared them for different things. And the example that I use, I'm going to bring up Kevin Samuels, right? I'm not going to bring up Kevin Samuels and say, I agree with everything he says. But if most of us had parents that had a little bit of that to make us think, like, you need to be able to take care of yourself. What are you bringing to the table to bring to a woman who has accomplished and whatever? Are you ready for this? You may want to go into bed with that woman because you like the way she's shaped, the way she looks, but you're not ready for that because you have to prepare yourself for all things, and it shouldn't be just a sexual thing. Are you compatible on all other levels? Are you so strong in your relationship that if one of you, you're paralyzed from the neck down or you're ill, that you can stay and take care of them and give them the same love that you gave them when they were up walking around?
Right.
If they lose money and you have to be the only one working because they're sick, do you love this person enough? Do you have enough conviction from within to be able to follow through, because this is the kind of person you are and you're not going to change because of something circumstantial around you?
Right.
Like, I'm not saying Kevin Samuels says that, but the general, like, I'm going down the list and making you see reality from what it is. Like, so sometimes if he says, well, you have 18 kids, let's just make it an extreme example. You got 18 kids, you haven't worked in 4 years, you're living with your mama, whether she's taking care of the kids. So what do you mean you want to walk down the aisle? You're not ready for that.
Right.
And so some people be like, oh God, he's so harsh, whatever. But if he were to get down on men like that, it would be the same thing. But I'm not saying God of this and God of that, because before I started kind of listening to him, I heard a lot of opinions, a lot of people who are angry and whatever. Yes, he doesn't play. He's like that teacher in school who you can't stand because the amount of homework he gives you, but you thank him after graduation because he made you a better person, right? No, I don't say he's going to make you a better person. I'm not saying him. I'm taking from parts of him. I'm just using him as the name that we all know. I'm not saying everything he says is good. All I'm saying, if we were more scrutinized and informed when we were younger, if there's that faction of a Kevin Samuels, it could be a woman who's Kevin Samuels like. You see what I mean? It's not him. But if we had, and some of us do have parents who prepared us. Right. But if we had people who were like, okay, you're dating this young lady. I noticed you've been coming home 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be blunt with you. Okay. You see her all day, all the time. Be careful. You do not want to create a life that you can't handle, because number one, you don't have a career yet. You don't want to just get into a menial type of job that you're going to be doing when you're 30 years old because you didn't have the time to get the skills. That's what I'm talking about. Not throwing off or making anybody feel bad, but in the preparation state, a lot of us didn't have that. So we're thrown to the wolves based on what we see on TV.
And sometimes we had it and we disregarded it too.
And we didn't want to hear it, and we went ahead and moved forward anyway, and now we're feeling it all up on the backside. So I just want people to understand, I just used him as an example. That it's like, oh God, what is he coming with now? And he tells you in the end, it's like, oh damn, he helped me from falling into a pitfall. Not that he himself is perfect, but if we had more people who had that kind of, let me sit down and talk to you type of thing, and bring the facts and let you know, well, if you do this, don't be surprised. chances are this is going to happen, and you don't want that. I just want the room to understand, that's where I'm coming from with that. So don't think, or you control this or anti this, or no. I don't have any kind of mindsets toward our sisters against me. If you don't know by now, you will never, never, never know me. Right? So yeah. We'll roll with this as much as we can. I gotta soon get out of here, but
I just feel like a lot of No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
I fully intend to do this show tomorrow on a more laid back level and go in deep. But we're gonna keep on talking about the whole thing. And I just want to show you by doing one thing real quick. Let me just give me a second. And let me do this thing really, really, really quick. So it's going to be in my face. I can't get away from it. So just my conviction with my slow internet.
Mine is slow too for some reason. I don't know.
There you go. See, and part 2. So that's going to be tomorrow, but I can't show it too long because folks are going to think, that this is part 2. So let's take that off. It's in place already, y'all. Okay. I don't know what time it's going to be, and it'll give me time to research. And there's a young man that I want to have come on, right? Who is one of the brothers. Like, I think they'll get married. He may sound a little resentful, but he brings some good points. And I called him. But I realized we have 5 hours difference between here and the East Coast. So I'll get him tonight. And maybe I'll just say it this way. Now, it may happen tonight. I want him on because he represents the guy that doesn't want to get married. And he's so maybe we can get some call-ins. I'll do it tomorrow. But if he says, man, I would do that tonight, I'm going to send out the notifications to everybody, email it out, whatever. Right. We'll do it tonight. Even if I'm tired, he's available because he's hard to get to. Plus, he's had some time off from work, and I think he's back next week. So I gotta catch him for this. I specifically message for him. So, but yeah, sometimes it's financial. Sometimes there are men who know they can't handle a wife and children and the responsibilities. Maybe he can just handle his own. And someone will say, he's selfish, he doesn't want to try. But then if he knows what he has in his pocket and his abilities right now, it may not be that he doesn't want to try. He doesn't want to end up in a disaster where you say, Negro, you're not doing enough. So we don't applaud those brothers enough that say, I'm not ready and I have no interest in it as I elevate myself to prepare myself to be in a position to do this. Yes, I want this, but I'm not going to jump the gun. Sure. Most people wouldn't mind driving down the street in a brand new Mercedes-Benz truck that might be $500,000. Right. But can you handle financially that responsibility? And then you say, okay, look, I had a Benz my father gave me that was a little older than most, nice looking car. He said, here, you want it? It was sitting in the garage and nobody was driving it. You want? Yeah, sure, I want it. I throw a paint job on that bad boy. After a couple of times of maintaining that older Mercedes, it looked nice, it turned heads, I was like, I can't handle this. I had to sell it. We forced me to do so, but I was like, I put a little into it. I can't handle it. And I had to get special parts and this and that. And I wasn't going to the dealership. I was going to a local guy to fix it. Like, it'll take another 2 weeks. So half the time I jiggling Benz keys and I was on the bus. What's the point of spending that money? Nothing's wrong with being on the bus. I'm just saying,
listen, I know that feeling, I mean, I talk about it, but I know that feeling all too well because every vehicle that you've mentioned, I've had at some point in my life, and I know the struggles. I mean, and some of them, it wasn't my doing because I would have settled for something a little less challenging, But yeah.
So I've been through that thing. So somebody says,
Lance, I can smell your food, Lance.
Oh, see, you can know what I'm eating, right? I'm eating some oatmeal.
Yeah.
You talking?
I smell the cinnamon.
I got a big bottle of it. It's cinnamon with oats. It's kind of late to be eating this way, but that's what I do, kind of maintain, my hunger. Because when I do go out, I will maybe munch out there a little bit too. And I'm in such a mood right now. I'm in a mood right now. I can just walk up to some strangers, just start talking and engage them in like a great conversation. To the point, like,
Yeah.
what's your like keep in contact? So I gotta have my cameras on me when I do that. You know, I'm not in a rushed mood right now, even though I do have to get ready, but I'm not in a rushed mood. But the financial, and now there are a lot of men who don't try because in our community we have to understand that incarceration has a lot to do with a lot of things too.
Right.
Those men who want to prepare themselves or know that there are a lot of sisters like, I ain't gonna marry nobody, I'm just got out of prison, you know, they're apprehensive. And we have a lot of good men out here who may have made a mistake that you can see that that's not the, and if they're like, you know, I did 10 years locked up because, you know, I was a pedophile. No. You got kids. No, you're not going to do that. Right? But there are things that you can do that are foolish that you got caught up in. That's like, okay, they did me a little too much as far as the sentence is concerned.
Yeah.
We understand. But I'm not making excuses for our brothers who want to use that as an excuse when they mess up and get caught.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I can't
Exactly.
So,
and that's it. You know, they do dirt and they see how women react when they do dirt to these women, and then they lump all women in a category and say, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have no part of that, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm going to pull up a video before, and the gentleman that we saw on the bus, that he's been to my home and we did shows, and if YouTube sees those shows, they might try to yank it, slap me. They're old shows that I left up, but nobody saw. So I'm like, damn. And I want them up, but they'd have to really be, how can I say it? I know how to come back at YouTube if they try to do that.
Put them on the site.
The terms of service at that time, you know, was a lot different.
Right.
Nobody's really watching them like that. I'm not going to look for the more extreme version, but I will look for, before we go, there's one I want to play, but you can see that he's angry. He's been, and it doesn't mean that, okay, you had a boo-boo, you've been hurt, you got to move on. Yeah, true. And I did take it on a case-by-case basis, but he's a very nice guy, but he let that hurt consume him to the point where really nobody at this point would want to be bothered with him because his mind is stuck in the past.
Right.
And he's very verbal about it. He'll get on the bus when I was driving and having a conversation with me, purposely talking louder and turning around to see who's listening and looking for them to have a look on their face. And he's even challenged them. This is where I know I can't be around this guy. He'd be riding and says, yeah, you know, these black bitches. I was like, yo, come on, man. Don't say that like that while you're talking to me because it's going to look bad on me. And this is my job. We're being recorded right now. So if you're talking to me, talk not just because of the job, but out of respect.
Exactly.
It's not that, but still now you put me at risk. Oh, okay. Yeah, like I was saying, these black bitches. I was like, yo, conversation over, man. You know what I mean? I'm just telling him. And he's so like saturated with this anger now that came out of a hurt. But he would turn around and there was one girl who said, she jumped in the conversation because well, who told you to jump in? Well, you're talking so damn loud. He met his match that day and she read him like a cheap novel. He tried to come back and was like, but he messed himself up by allowing that pain to just saturate his soul for so long. And it's kind of unacceptable and it's sad because time is moving on.
Right.
And there are good men out there who, you know, think a certain way. I don't know if my brother's still on the line, but I'll say brother Ruben Dennis.
Yes.
He's a gentleman. He's classy. He's mannerable. He was raised right. He's the kind of person that, like I said, you can trust him. He's never given no reason not to trust, but you can trust his whole spirit and demeanor. He's I'm all in with that brother. Haven't seen him in many decades because, you know, I've moved to Florida, but I know his spirit. And if you see his Facebook page, how he gets along, man, brother's a snazzy dresser, very handsome. Yes, a bodybuilder, competed. You could tell that, but there's no arrogance in him. And there are good men out there, and I could rattle off a lot of good men that I know that are single and married, but they're married, so they're off the shelf. But there are some out there, and there are a lot of good women out here. I have to say that officially. So anybody who listens to an old program where we focus on the wayward women in our community doesn't mean I'm mentioning this of all. I don't have that kind of venom. But when I go in on a situation, people say, man, you got a thing against them? No, I'm going in on this situation for those who are like that, no matter what the topic is. And when you understand my style, you'll understand me. See, so I'm not going to say, I'm not flavored in my mind where, oh, there's nothing out here. It is a bit challenging because of the mentalities that many people have because of the sharing of experiences through social media, which can amp us up. I mean, we can find groups and we can find rooms that are based on ideology because we all had this kind of pain. You have groups of women, Black women who swirling is the way, Black men are bad, go to the white man.
Yeah.
Groups of men who are like, the Black women are bitchs and they're no good, and you go to the white woman, please. I'd rather work on my little bike or bicycle that has a gear that takes me to 2 or 3 hours to work on before I ride again, then jump to the shiny new bike of the white world and it's not for me and it's taking me somewhere else. No, I'll stick with mine and be happy because that's the only way I could be happy. Anybody who knows me, check my resume. Check it. You know what I mean? From the wild days to
chocolate
the
sauce or nothing at all.
Yeah, going all the way back. I dare anybody, you know. We have a lot of brothers who, you know, they might be, which may sound funny, they might be more focused on their career right now. And take your hat off to them because they want to make the best use of their time so that when they at that phase in their life when they're ready, they have something to offer.
Right.
You see? And see, for those women, and I'm not saying all, just some, we have some women who have made it. And we know in the corporate world especially, it's a little easier for them, more so than the Black man who may be an alpha male and threatening to the white power structure. We're not going to give that job to him, Johnny. He's too conscious. So a lot of those women sometimes compromise the standard that they should have where, oh, well, I got the home. I'm retired. I did well in my career. My children are grown. It'd be nice to have a man. And because they don't need a man to have his own, they're focusing on the fact that this is what I need for my world. So I don't care if you don't have enough teeth in your mouth. I'll make sure you do. I don't care if you only work a combination of maybe a total amount of only 2.5 years in your whole life. Worry, I have an extra car. Don't worry. We'll reinvent you. I'll make you. But there's this time, it is not just a sexual need, but at the same time, after you've made this man and he's your creation somewhat, you begin to resent him because he didn't come with his own. You made him, and now when you come into your senses, he's home, whatever. You say, okay, we're working on his credit, but he doesn't have his own checking account. He doesn't have credit. So I have to be the one to, and I have to do this, and I have to, and then you get situations like that where it don't look as good. But when you're lonely and you wish, you say, man, just a man to hold me. He can hold you, but the holding is not just a matter of a man with muscles holding you. It's what the manhood represents and what it should be. So you can't just take the facsimile, the superficial part, and think you're going to be happy with that. Just like a man who says or judges what he needs, he has it all. And all he needs is, a lot of older men do this. Young men too, but older men do this when they feel that they're failing in their propensity for sexual staying power. And so they say, well, you know, that little girl, I won't even say that little girl in the hood because a lot of women who are good there, whatever, but he likes to find the helpless, broken type of woman. Maybe she's not broken, but she doesn't have as much and didn't have the opportunity. And he takes her in, and because she looks good and her backside looks good and the boobies are defying gravity and, you know, them lips can do a lot more than kiss. And he's basing on that. But then he gets frustrated when he can't really have a deep intellectual conversation from deeper experiences in life. He's lonely that way. Not that women who don't have or like that. We have a lot of wonderful sisters who can take you on a cerebral trip so much to the point where you're not even thinking about sex. It's like, whoa, I just want to have conversation with you. Right? So he'll get the kind that may not be able to go there on an intellectual level, but on a physical level, he'll get satisfied to a point. But then again, I say, if unions and sexuality is not a separate thing. Like when we spoke the other day and said with Western medicine, they always want us to focus on the part, but not the collective. What was the emotional issue that made you physically sick?
Right.
We got to understand that just catering to that part of sexuality after the orgasm is experienced, what are you going to talk about after that? Her backside looks good, but you're an older man. You ain't getting as hard as you used to be. Maybe it's an ego thing where you want to have a half-naked younger girl walking around that does whatever when your friends come over. Oh, man, you got it good. But she's like a servant to you. It's got to be mutual. She's got to have standards and demands based on her experiences. And if she doesn't have the experiences, you can connect physically and do what you do, but it's not going to be as satisfying. Let me get graphic for a second to explain the mentality. Men talk about they love head. Who don't love it? Women love it. Most do. Who don't? Whether you admit it or not.
Right.
But if you're a man, and what's the difference? And this is the example I've used before. We're adults talking here. I haven't used any bad words. We're talking real here.
Yes.
You have a woman who is out here. Let's just say she's a lawyer, not because she's in the white man system as a lawyer, but she's accomplished. She might have her own business doing well, 3 or 4 locations of a restaurant. And she's been doing this for 20 years, whatever. And she has a mind on her. She's driven. She has goals. She's motivated. For her, in a relationship, to go down on you and wrap her lips around you, it's more of a high because this woman represents something. Now hold that thought. You go down the street, you're a low vibrational man, and you're feeling a little horny, just on a physical level. And you see some crackhead out there who will give you a $5 blowjob for $3, and now you're in the car in the alleyway. There is no way that crackhead is going to make you feel good. Or let's put that crackhead with that same man, the aforementioned man. He don't want that. There's nothing to it. You can't even get into it because that is a celebration of who the person is as they submit to you to celebrate who you are by wanting to give you so much pleasure.
Exactly.
A high vibrational woman is not going to want to give pleasure to a low vibrational man.
Exactly.
A high vibrational man is not going to be able to even comprehend even moving forward with something like this because he knows he's not going to enjoy it because that woman doesn't represent anything of accomplishment. It doesn't mean you have to have 5 restaurants, but just be on that same level. And like I always say, every man in this world doesn't deserve an orgasm because they haven't earned it. Now, who am I? Oh, you can get it, but get it with somebody low vibration like you. You'll never enjoy what the next man who has worked hard to accomplish, didn't use and hurt no women. Sometimes we hurt them, don't try to hurt them. It wasn't the intention, but has a pure heart. And now he meets an accomplished woman. That is some high vibrational, high level connection. And when we speak on a sexual level, not just head, but anything, it's a flow. And you can see couples in the street, whether they dressed up, showing how much money they make or they don't. They can have ripped up jeans and whatever. But you see something high about them on a higher level that is, oh yeah, he get busy with her. See, low vibration men can only see that.
That's right. That's right.
He get busy with her, but you can't comprehend how we get busy on a cerebral level. We're planning another business. We're planning a trip somewhere to an exotic location. Not because we have the money to do that, but we know and we enjoy other cultures because we know ourselves and our culture so well. If you're low vibrational, there's no way you're going to be able to enjoy certain things, and you don't even deserve a high vibrational woman. You can't get those kind. You can't get it. You might look out when they're feeling down and you front on who you are and get that.
Listen.
I'm not losing y'all.
Listen. No, you're not losing me. You're right. Listen. What? I have a phrase that I say. I mean, I found myself in a situation one time, and I'll tell anybody I wasn't in my right mind. Because if I was in my right mind, I always said on a bad day, even on a bad day, I would never have given that person a thought. I wouldn't even have made one eye turn in the direction of that person. You understand? Right. So. Yeah, you those things happen.
Yes. Yes.
You know what?
Here's the thing. Any man, and I'm just gonna put this up, and if we like sensations, but if you're really into the person and you find that there's extreme reasons why, and these things need to be found out earlier on. Granted, sometimes our mates don't tell us things on why they don't like certain things. And that's why we need to have real great, good communication in the beginning. One thing I won't do is force somebody, man, you got to do, no, then now the energy's wrong. The energy's wrong.
Yeah.
That means you're not into her, you're into that act, which that act is real good. But me personally, I have got to earn that. I've got to do you first so good that you want to. See, to me, it's the wanting to.
Yeah.
Lance, I wanna so and so. I wanna say, okay, all right, when we get over there, we'll, because you know I earned it on that level and quite possibly on the other levels of life. So you have these men out here who might be lower vibrational and they're resentful of that man who always seems to not have a problem. It's not about not have a problem getting a blowjob from a high vibrational woman. They're not supposed to know that, number one. But men can sense things and know when you see the admiration in a woman's eyes, when you see how she adores you, and you're not throwing out game. She appreciates you for who you are. And yes, a man has to be a provider, even when she has her own, but to see him do his thing, he might go to his business or what he does and say, man, he is running the show.
Yeah.
Men don't understand that this is what makes her moist. It's not just, well, I got a big dick, yeah, and I got a six pack and so and so and so. And these little big dick, broke, low vibrational six pack having dudes in the corner who have no plan of security, not only for themselves, but much less not even a woman potentially, always wonder why that little guy that may have a little gut, he might not be as tall. He may not be somebody who's repulsive physically, but he may not be the physical specimen. And how the hell is this joker always having these beautiful women who ain't paying me no mind on a lower vibrational level? Yes, now if that high vibrational guy got himself in better shape, it's only because it's him doing it, not because of the after product of hours spent in the gym. Because I never went to the gym to get women. I never had a problem when I got into the gym. It was an extra look. It was an extra thing, and I was used for that lots of times. But it wasn't a fear of mine. But it was one point where I wanted to make myself very unattractive because I was so tired of thinking that women just want to be with me because of my body. Me as a man at that time, because I was lonely. And then it was even worse when I put on weight and ate food and tried to like not work out for years, whatever, which I ain't did nothing since 1985. It never stopped. It got worse because it was my personality and my upbringing, my insides, and my cerebral. I'm not just going to try to sashay around you and just have a never-ending volley of women that I went into bed with. Anybody that has ever sat down and talked with and had time with, they will not forget me. And I'm not saying that because I'm cocky. I am. But it's not about that. If I'm going to talk with you, we're going to have a good damn time. I don't have to think that I have a shot to get between your legs. If you have the cerebral going on, we will mentally connect so deep that it will be orgasmic in its own right. And I'm not talking about the physical part. And most people don't know that. So that woman who may not be, I'm not going to say your mom's sister, but I mean, you said that, but maybe he couldn't appreciate the other things that she did. You know, I know a woman who cooks so good, I tell her, I said, listen, you don't do that, but shit, this food is a blowjob on a plate. You know what I mean? Now, at the end of the day, you do have to get what it is. You can't say, well, I'm not going to. No, then we have to compromise somehow. You know,
right.
I'm not going to force you, but we can work around certain things. Maybe it's the thought of ejaculation in your mouth, or, you know, maybe you can use condoms, or maybe you had a bad experience, but I keep myself clean down there, and you know, whatever it is. Or maybe now if you were, say for example, molested and forced, now that's something I won't even mess with.
Right.
Because I'm right. You know, if you want to try to do that on me, it will turn me off if you are forcing yourself.
Right.
Because even with that, the turn on for me is the fact that you want to do that. You want to do that. I'd rather have a woman tell me she wants to do that to me that I'll never see than having somebody who don't want to do it and they force themselves to do it. Now you're violating yourself. You see, because now you're going against the grain of what you want. I have had women and groups of women, every conceivable sexual act and combination done on me. I'm still here. I can tell you that that's not it. It's more to a woman than that. You think it up, I done did it and had it. Not just once, but multiple times. So I know I'm equipped. And look at me now. I'm here. I'm doing my shows and I'm cool, I'm quiet, and whatever these women out here now, they, no, it's not just because you be married and running all over the town.
Wait a minute.
I'm happy and content doing what I'm doing because I understand a fuller range of life.
Right.
But
I just realized something.
Yes.
You're not on camera.
Exactly.
But why?
I woke up. I came back and napped and woke up like about 15 minutes before, sweaty and musty. I just don't, I'm clean looking. You can't tell, but I have my own hangups. I got to be shaved and showered again. And I went out and did so much and sweaty. And
I just realized it. I was like, wait a minute. What is this?
I don't even have the light. The camera's turned down just in case of the other platform that may have shown my face. I have nothing to hide. I mean, I can show my face, but I'm just like, I'm not feeling it right now.
Okay.
I got to shave again. I got to be right.
Okay.
I got to be right. Some dudes don't care. They go out, hey, wash in 5 days. We talk to the honey. No. I can't even on camera if I'm not right. I don't even want to go outside. I mean, I was right this morning, but I just got so sweaty and so whatever. And I was want to get a little hour or two of sleep, whatever happened. I did. And I woke up right before because I was like, I'm going to lay down for 15 minutes and get up and prepare the show. I got up. I was like, oh my God, not 15 minutes before, but like about 40 minutes before. And that time was flying.
Yeah.
I'll be on camera. Yeah. Sometimes you got to sprinkle it where you don't show your face so folks can focus on the words.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Winifred part 2 has started. Are we really going to go in? I want to give more of a taste so anybody who sees this as a video that they can get some of it, but we will go in and I want to have call-ins. I want to have some of our sisters call in. I want to have others on and they can say, because I'm not the end all of this. I may not even be qualified to speak about this because
I know I'm not.
Yeah, but well, yeah. See, and that's why I won't come in with that fervor. Yeah, the reason why, because I do. Some people don't believe in it. They feel that like say for example, they had bad experiences with marriage in the past, and they don't want to get married again.
Right.
But that's maybe they weren't ready and they pushed themselves up in it. Too many of us blame women for our mishaps. Just because you were hungry and pulled the meal out of the oven too early, that meal was on its way to being a delicious plate.
Or sometimes they were just they were convinced.
They're convinced, but sometimes it's a sex thing. You dip your wick into the wax a little early, and I can't let this go. I gotta have this every night. Not knowing that you have many disagreements coming to you in the future because you didn't compare your ideology and your moral standards on different things. That's why that book, I gotta find it so I can read over. It will spawn so many shows. There's a book that prepares you for marriage and prepares you even for engagement. It may not have to be the white man way or the European way. You see, and we all speak about the African way, and a lot of us ain't going to adhere to it because it could be something so different than what we're used to. And it has to reverberate, has to be a combination of what you feel is right on the inside. So I'm not just going to come over here to Africa, right? I'm in Accra, Ghana, and I got some dashikis. I got some, man, well, why don't you wear those little more? I don't want to give that message that this is just the African channel. This is just this. I'm here. I enjoy the culture. I'm learning it. I want to learn the language here in Accra and other countries. But the things that in my upbringing, I can't turn around from or turn away from, that all of a sudden, no, I'm going to erase all of the 57 and a half years that I lived in America because I'm in Africa. So I'm going to get African ox and dashikis and caps. And this is all what about? What about the folks who are still in America who have want to have discussions about, I can't turn my back on you. That's why I still have the show 10 o'clock We did it at 8 o'clock, but it gave me a little more time to do stuff in the day because I'm 5 hours and then sometimes 4 hours ahead of you. My heart is right there. My heart is here too, but my heart is still the majority there. And my concern is there. And the time will always be there. And that's what made me. I'm not going to try to just run away from America because something happened to me and I'm mad. No, I miss certain aspects of America because of my friends that are there. If I was on fire like I am now in America, you know, the video content that I would get, but I have to depend on the live stream and joining people in. Still over there. But again, there's so many men that it's a sex thing and I want to capture this woman for my own. And I'll have her in my bedroom all the time.
Right.
See, your insecurities start kicking in. Where is she really into me like that? Because I find out that she has a little bit more of a past than I thought. Be close if it's sincere on both sides.
Right.
But you now actually cheated yourself by focusing on one aspect of her physical, what she offers that way. She could be a nice person. Could be a person who looks good.
Yeah. And people don't talk enough prior to, you know, to getting connected. Yeah. We don't talk enough.
Ready-made template. We got the ready-made template. Like,
yeah.
There may be certain things. We're not even just talking about sex. Sex is something that is absolute. Because if you're not getting it the way you want to get it, you feeling it immediately. But what if you like to travel and she doesn't? What if she's not into the luxury cars, but you are, right?
Yeah.
So now you push your budget and what you make, which takes away from other parts of your life together.
And that's one of the reasons why people cheat.
Right. See, so you have a guy who goes out. I knew a guy who went out and came back with a luxury car. Didn't even tell the wife.
And that's wrong.
Like, yeah. But so she's like, wait a second. You know, we were doing okay, but we're not going to be able to accumulate money now because now, that's inconsiderate.
Yes, it is.
So to me, like, I'm not saying my father taught me. He taught me, but it's best if you're the one, like the mother and the child. When that child is in the womb, the mother, whatever she eats goes to that child first. She could be looking all drained and nails cracked and hair brittle, and that baby come out just as healthy. So as a husband, as a man, you're supposed to uphold that household. And the first one to suffer should be you, as far as not getting the amenities that you say you desire. That's part of it, that you get off. I don't mean get off sexually, but you get off, you enjoy, you know that is your role as a man, and you are even proud when you have to mark off something that you're not going to get this month, as far as a trip to that restaurant or buying these gadgets or whatever have you, that you're making sure you're proud of your family, you're proud of your woman. Let her be the one to look real good with whatever adornments that she wants. And I don't look so that you musty looking, whatever it can. No, you have your little nice outfits, yeah. But when it comes to dealing with matters of the heart, to make her heart content and make her happy, even though she's going to say, "Listen, I'll suffer too," whatever. No, I'm making sure I'm the man. I get off from the fact that I'm the breadwinner, and you might be some of the breadwinner too. But you're going to enjoy. You're not going to appear to be deficient.
It's a very sexy thing.
But it is. Let me be the one to take the blows. Let me be the one to knock out the world for you. If any one of us is not working, let me be the one to work. I'll work twice. I'll come home like a warrior, glad and happy. I might be tired, but I'll be the one to say, and you'll know it, that I'm a real man who put you and my family first.
I don't want to take this.
Showed me and told me.
I was thinking something, but I don't want to take it to. You're being very serious, so I'm just gonna.
No. I'm always a comedian right there. Go ahead and say it.
No, because I was gonna say, when you have a man that's doing what he's supposed to do, and he wants to make sure that you're happy, you have no choice but to swallow.
Well, yeah, but see, that's one of the joys of being a warrior with your family. Yes, exactly.
I mean, you're just so impressed. You're just like, oh my God. You see him doing
day
what you're
after day,
supposed to
week
do
after
day
week,
after
month
day,
after
and
month,
you
year
appreciate him
after year,
so
decade
much.
after decade.
You know, you're just like,
No, but I'm saying it's not even, well, that's where it's at, right? But like when I said to myself 21 years ago, wherever this journey takes me, I'm going to ride it through. I'm going to be myself, and I'm committed to it. And I've recommitted to it last year, that I'm a year and a half or so, whatever, that I'm going to stick through with what I do online, because it's not just a matter of hits or trying to make money. Because as you well know, I can't even pay a cell phone bill right now, what I make. You know what I mean? So just from this, but I have to follow through. So right now, what I do as far as what it gives me that way, it's like a drooling, paralyzed mate that's in a wheelchair that doesn't even know you and you still gonna love them.
yeah,
There's other things you'll focus on if it's just a money thing.
right.
But no, I'm not, because I'm almost there with other things for me to see in my dream what I want to accomplish. It's beyond money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's another thing about to the highest bidder right now with me. I will be doing some other things, but I'm not going to make this diminish. I have to follow through with my of this kind of platform in a way, because I still don't have it where I want it to be yet, as far as satisfaction with so many different levels.
Right.
I want to run after I'm off this earth. I want it to be something that is kept up where, like, wow, we got to keep this kind of feel up beyond. It's not, so I'm treating this like a wife in a sense, that no matter what, I'm going to be here for you and give that way, regardless of here or not. Regardless if it's 2 hits or 1 million hits or no followers, I'm still going to do it. I have to. And that's the kind of conviction that we as men have to have. And so I do also have to say that when you are a man who know your limitations and know where you stand, the best thing, if you're not ready to get married, you might be emotionally ready. You might be ready as far as you being able to sustain that monogamy. And many people say monogamy is not normal. It all depends on the wiring of the person. You understand? Because even people that I've known personally who have extended relationships, and we're not just saying just for sex, but they might be a poly thing and can explain on paper, like, wow, that makes sense, but I ain't doing that shit. You know what I mean? Even when they can tell you, like, okay, intellectually it makes sense.
Right.
But and it's not just the sex thing, and I understand that. But when it comes time when either it's in your face or he's gone, I'm speaking to women now, that like, okay, he's over there with the other wife, and I know her well. We took care of things together. Sometimes you have arrangements where you're in the same dwelling, but you all have your separate space, or the person may be kind of like not there, but it's open where they come by you, you go by them, and you have your own sister wife relationship, and they're different types. I'm just saying. But the minute you see that man who you were sleeping with the night before, and you happen to go over, and they're in the bedroom, and you're out there, and you're not going to barge in on them unless it's that kind of 3-way thing. And he comes out the room, and you smell her.
Jealousy reigns. Jealousy reigns.
You get in the room and see, wait a second. So you got to be ready for that. So there are some who believe in that, and there's some who don't. And for those who don't and want it to be a one-on-one thing, a man may be ready that way, but say to himself, I do not want to be deficient when it comes time to taking care of the finances.
Right.
Oh, but I make enough money. No. That's cool. And maybe I'll get with you earlier because I know it's going to be you. But I have to give myself more time to raise myself up, to bring something into this. How many of us are willing to be that nigga on the couch or in the bedroom while things are good, but that woman who's taking care of us? That I can't do it. I cannot do that. I can't be a man that way. It's not just tied to money. And this is why the system doesn't want to hire us. They don't have to, but they always want to keep us financially crippled because we're not going to be able to provide. So I'll do 2 or 3 times as much. I will take 25 blows to land my one. All we have to do, instead of trying to prove that our strength is between all the girl, I'll tear you up, I'll rip that open, and it's all violent sounding. Ain't no tender love. You want to get F that night and we pull your hair. You may like that every now and then, but for the most part, we have nothing else to offer, and we're talking about the size of our organ. There's a lot of long dicks out there with empty pockets. There's a lot of good dick out there connected to a fool who has no wisdom.
True.
There's a long, hard dick, and some of these chicks like, they get big, but it don't get hard to stay limp. So you just don't know what you're going to get. But when it comes time for wisdom, making decisions, being a man brings solutions. Sure, a good, long, hard dick is good for the women, but let it be where he has all of the attributes on the other end.
All the other ducks are in a row. Yes, indeed.
Yes, because then the dick is really good then.
Yeah.
The dick ain't no good when you don't have no lights on and it's not by choice. The dick ain't good when you afterward you're like, oh, ain't nothing in the refrigerator. The dick ain't good when somebody's knocking on your door talking about, hey, it's a day over, you got to pay this rent. The dick is a mockery then. You see? So for those women who don't mind the man not being able to do this on a financial level or that, well, what if you fail?
That gets tired after a while.
Does the dick still make you feel nice and warm when it's a blizzard outside and you didn't have enough money to keep your house heated? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just like women who tell me in the past, yeah, I got some good stuff. You with that girl over there, but hey, I'll rock your world, baby. I'll do the. I've been around women, and this is not me putting down some women who have no sense in their head. I had to learn. I've been with some low vibrational women, and the friction and sensations given were exemplary. But after that, it's like that candy bar you ate because you were hungry. Now you ain't got no energy, and you hungry again in 30 minutes. Talk about
right.
Where are your goals?
Right.
Your goals to go hang out on the weekend with your girlfriends and just talk gossip. You have nothing going on. Even I don't care where you work. It's not where you are now. It's where you are going to be. You gotta get out of the car. You can get a fool in the hood, go to a buy here, pay here joint, and get a damn near brand new car, or luck out and get some inheritance and get a brand new car. Where is he going? What does he do? Look at what we do. A lot of us know this already. That hood-centered fool will drive up and down and up and down the same blocks, going nowhere, wanting to be seen, double parking his car, leaving the door swing wide open so you can't get past while he's up in the doorway talking to some chick. And you're looking at him like you're blocking the street. We see you have a new vehicle, but we won't see him 3 months later when he has to ride the bus. He won't even get on He'll walk down 3 stops. Because I was a bus driver for many years, I thought this played out. So why go for the temporary when you should be working on the permanent?
Exactly.
Why do we meet some? And I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm just saying this to spice things up. Why do we meet somebody in the club 1 week and they're living with us in 2 weeks? Why do we meet somebody in the club 3 weeks after we done had a baby and he's jumping up inside of you? What the hell?
God.
3 weeks from dropping the baby and you in the club. It's like that. I don't know if I showed you that video. I forwarded it to you of the one woman who was there stripping and you didn't realize it, but she had a big belly while she was doing it. I mean, she was twerking and on her knees, face down, ass up. And when she got, she's pregnant.
You need to send that to me like right now.
Yeah. I gotta dig in the phone. I get the phone set for phone calls. But, I'll do it to you. I'll give it to you. I'll do it to you.
Lord have mercy. That's a slip. It's not even a Freudian slip. It's not a Freudian slip. This one. That's just a slip.
Well, they do have a chemistry. Well, like I said before, unless I'm hung to go all the way over to America, right? That's the thing, making the world look like a lollipop. I'm hanging off the world. Radar has satellites. He's knocking satellites out of the scene.
I know. Can you imagine?
Coming from across Ghana.
Unless you got eyes on that thing too, could you be like, where is she?
I know. I'll be like that blind man walking through public with his little cane knocking into people. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh God.
He's blind. Okay. I know a dude like with the cane, but he'd use the cane in the left hand and keep his hand out in front of him. And he wasn't blind. He had the dark glasses on. He'd go to different parts of town. He could feel the bees by chest. Not just grab him direct or grab the ass direct, but he'd get a little feel the back of his. Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Whatever.
Oh my goodness!
Like the dude in the wheelchair that I showed you when I used to drive the bus, he'd get strapped up in the wheelchair and have his little and he would drink like milk out of like baby bottles and have diapers. Like he couldn't go, like he had to change like a grown adult diapers hanging on the side. And, oh, I feel so sorry for him. And there are women who were like, men didn't as much, but women really gave him a lot of money.
I ain't feeling sorry for him.
One girl got on the bus and blew him up. You gonna play basketball later on like you did the last night? That nigga ain't paralyzed.
Mm-mm.
But like I said, there's an order to things, and there's a reason why. And I don't care who wants to say it's European or whatever, but at least gradually, this is why you have dating, you have courting, you have engagement, and then you have marriage.
No, then you should have think about it some more. Then you have after the courting, think about it some more. Then you have marriage.
How many times we jump?
Yeah,
dating. And again, I'll say it. You know, dating is something we should do more because dating does not mean FUCKING. We talk, oh, I talked to him or I knew him. No. A woman can date 50 guys in a month's period and should not be, if she's dating properly, looked at as a whore. Dating is to get into the energy of various people to know what it is that you like and what you don't like. Nothing more.
Yeah.
Ain't no hugging up and ain't no, not even hand holding. It's just like you go to the store with a person of the same sex. You know, I mean, women out here who are bisexual, they'll add something in. I'm just saying, an innocent trip to the mall that you're not even interested in getting with them. It could happen that you might want to court them.
I know nothing about dating. I know.
Young ladies and young men should be dating and think about, well, I'm gonna do something extra. That's showing. And then courting is being exclusive. It still doesn't mean sex technically. Now we know as adults, we're like, especially if we're like 40 and 50 years old, well, we dated a little bit, and this courting thing, you know, we kind of went into some things that marriage entails, but you know what? Now sometimes we kind of take a chance, and we succeed still. You know, we can jump levels. There's always that student in school that he's so smart that you can jump him up another level, and he'll hang and be smarter than people that level 2 levels up. But it doesn't always work that way. You gotta know yourself, and it's also a thing of life experience. You can be 50 years old and have no damn experience with the opposite sex, except that you just have sex with them. But you don't know or in a union. You don't even know yourself. I'm not putting down any one of us, men or female, but I'm just throwing a few things out there. That's a possibility because we all can look like grown folks and we're not equipped. You can have a car sitting out in your garage, shined up, rims, sports car, brand new, no engine in the transmission, so it ain't going nowhere. So don't judge by how we act and talk and whatever. Open it, pull up the hood, date the person, and get to know what's there with them. There's no pressure to sign the dotted line. Right. And it's no time on. It doesn't mean you have to be like between dating and marriage 5 years. It can be a year. It might be sooner than I wouldn't suggest it, because you got to do a test run. We're so willing to give a test run with sex, but not a test run to see if they possess the attributes that are favorable in a good long marriage. So a lot of times with us as Black men and Black women, we have something nasty to say about unions and being with each other, like Jethro did earlier. But it's only because of our own inept experiences, because we didn't know how to approach things because of a jacked up upbringing, a jacked up mindset, or some pain that we went through that totally turned us off. And now we project onto all women. There are men that I know that in public, you know, we cool to a point. They've told me. They've tried hard to get the woman, and all of a sudden she's a whore. The minute she gives him pleasure, or the minute that she seems to be enjoying what they're doing, but he gives them such a good start and all of a sudden, I don't want to be with that whore. Why is she a whore?
Why is she a whore?
She went down on me. Didn't you go down on her?
Oh God!
Are you a whore too? You flipped her over her knees and hit the backside with that mouth. So you must be a super whore then. But it doesn't count. See, so we have men that are weird.
That's interesting.
The woman has to be a whore.
That's
if she's giving you something, no, it is. It was something we were definitely going to talk about. But when she's giving you pleasure and you have the right state of mind, it binds you together.
Yeah.
But now he gets mad. Like he's almost man.
It's almost like he's guilty. He feels guilty that whatever she did was so good. So he has to now, what are you laughing for? What happened?
When you said it's so good, I'm not gonna call in the past. I'm not gonna call nobody that no whore. You my good friend. We need to hang up again tomorrow night. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all. I'll be more of a whore to you than you are to me. I'm gonna have you. You're gonna, Lance, you nasty, disgusting human being. I love you. Do that again, please. I have you all confused.
Freaking mess.
We all messed up.
Sir.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be a show someday that I might not be able to make it on the show. And you go wild your ass out and say things you ain't supposed to say.
Because look, I was supposed to go a while ago.
What? Yeah, you're still here. We both got to go now. Because
part two. Like I said, part two. We'll go on it more. And we'll talk about the different aspects of why. We'll try to get some people on. But I really sincerely enjoy this vibe. And when I get like that, I want to go. So even at the times I'm cutting the show short, don't think I want to go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like you having a house party, like parents or anything, but you have to be grown and you live there, whatever the circumstances are, and you have a dope house party. But guess what? You got the overnight shift that you got to work tonight. You're leaving in uniform, and you're like,
I know.
And when you're at work, you're calling like every 10 minutes. So what y'all doing now?
What y'all doing? Is it finished? Are y'all still going?
And everything is over. Instead, you see a few people standing out in front, like, the party just ended. Yeah, man, you missed it. And you go home and you got to sleep in that. You hear the phone calls. Girl, did you see so and so? People you haven't seen in years coming around. You're like, damn, I missed it.
That's
so no, we don't want to make you feel that way. We're gonna come with it, but that's why I feel that way. Like, damn, I'm gonna miss the party. But we got the party, and so we just have to reconnect the elements. And we don't have anything scheduled, but as you well know, there will be content. Now it's so late for me, and I have to go. I won't be able. I can do a rooftop, but I don't like doing rooftop in the dark. I like when the sun is shining. You can see things in the background moving and all that stuff.
Yeah, we really don't want you doing anything at nighttime on that rooftop.
Hey, tell about the rooftop. The
rooftop is bloody scary, guys. You know, I don't know if many of you have watched Brotherlands, and he tilts the camera a certain way, and you wonder to yourself, is he standing on a wall? Because on the edge. But then when you see,
I showed you. I took a little video and showed you how low.
It's very low.
Yeah. It's not like waist high. It's a little bit above your knee.
It's very low. Listen, he showed it to me and my palms started sweating, and I'm not the one standing up there. My palms literally started sweating because I'm like, I told him, go further in. I text him back.
That didn't sound right, but anyway.
Oh God. Oh Lordy, Lord.
Yeah, but even still,
there's no way to say it. If I say move back a little bit more, that's gonna sound.
Whatever you say, I can turn it around. But it's all in humor. But yeah, but the thing is that like at nighttime, it's like those lights on the mountain, lights in the city around you. It gets still for a second. Like, all you want to say is like, let me get down from up here.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what that's like. You know what that's like.
What's that?
When you hear about these accidents on the road where people come out to change their tire and they're on the shoulder. It's like there's a freaking magnet that draws traffic to that person on the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like
on the road next to an 18-wheeler, and it feels like pulling. Like I gotta drive up on this thing.
It's like, what is it that causes? Yeah, I think it's that thing. You know, your car goes where your eye goes. You know what I mean?
See, you know, I don't hear voices that say jump, but you look and you say, man, how could somebody do that? And then when you walk to the edge too much, like, okay, I was securely there, right? Now I have to.
Should I just jump over this thing?
What? Shoot, I got things to do. I'll be. I jump on my feet, keep walking. But no, I don't think so. So I'm going to try that out. But there are times okay, I have to. I'll put it up on Instagram. I'll take a little picture of it up there because the landlord is good and everything. But he shortchanged himself. When you walk up on the roof, you should have a full door that opens up and a higher up part right there. That it's just the open thing that he covered.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go up the steps to go up there, it's narrow and it's only about maybe 3 feet high, maybe about 3 feet high. And you have to get that squeeze to this thing. So that's what makes you feel further isolated when you're up there because it's not a door. It's just an opening that is set up strategically where lots of rain don't come down the steps.
Right.
So when you up there, you feel naked and bare, like you feel like you're on a roof where you would drop down on there by a helicopter, but there's no door to get down from that place, right? So, so you have moments where it's like, you get a chill.
It's like, let me hurry up and get down this damn thing. Let me hurry up.
It's better in the daytime, but nighttime is
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put them over first. I'll knock them out and get out of there. So that's what it is. That's why I don't do as many at night. I do like the daytime and just to show.
I think it works better when you're up there and you go from sunlight to darkness. You're already established in your spot, so
right. So and what I do, even the light when it is on, when it's light, there's a mountain that I can watch the sun go down on, and I know what time the sun's going to go down. So if I start it's around 6 when that happens, a little after 6 where it's completely, but it's still lit. So if I started at 5:30, I said, okay, I know I'm going to get a 30-minute video in light. And then now you can watch it severely go and turn it dark because I've scrubbed in the program. You grab where the video is and you scrub it across and you can watch the sky behind you go right to dark. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's so nice. That's and what I want to do is get up really early and face the other way. Like
and watch the sunrise.
And you'll see the sky light up. Maybe I'll make another video where you can see picture the other way when you watch the sun go up. I'll do that one time. If I go up there,
nice.
Yeah. Split screen. What you see and whatever. Because I don't go up there like that. Lots of times I stay up so late that it happens, and I'm inside still working. So that's how it goes.
Right.
But tonight, if I get the individual that I want, we'll do it tonight.
Okay.
Probably not. But definitely tomorrow. I'm gonna get a really good rest tonight. There's a couple of things that doesn't mean I don't have content because I have Mia Meow's content to put up, and that's phenomenal. Right? I'm gonna premiere that. But no, I might not be able to put that on YouTube. That's okay. And if you hear that, then you know it's good, right?
Right.
It's YouTube like shut me down forever after that. Because there's liabilities that may, and I don't care. It's like they're not going to come in like that on the other platform. But YouTube, yes.
Right.
YouTube police are looking for me hard because I've been selling or sharing the dope of truth too much, and they have my spot identified. So I know they're agents who are watching me, and they don't want that righteous, spiritual dope of truth. I'm playing on words now. I don't sell no drugs. But this is the spot for that. And they're like, on the first time he messes up, we're going to throw him away. We're going to get rid of him. It's like, why did they give me 500 years? Because all the times we didn't catch you.
Oh, jeez. Oh, dear.
No, I won't, sweet D. I'll stay off the roof at night. I was scary up there, though, for real. It is scary because it is a small area.
But guess what, guys? I made him even more aware of how scary it is.
Yeah. I've been walking this tightrope for years, and now you made me.
I'm like,
there was a time when I felt like I was losing balance, but I was securely leaning up on one of the walls, like the one behind me, and I'll show you all. Yeah. I was thinking, I felt like, and I caught myself, and then I felt the adrenaline.
That's what bothers me. That's what, more than anything else. It's not so much that you're careless, or it's just that thing that can come over any individual at any given moment, and the height is just not enough because there's nowhere for you to even say, okay, let me lean up on this thing. There is no lean up.
No. It's the
No.
other one. It's not the exterior one that's facing the street, but the one that the steps that you come up is a little higher.
Yes, I see that.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's as high as my butt cheek, to be honest. Like I lean back on it, it's like right up under. So that's not tall at
That's
all.
crazy. Oh man.
The other one's shorter.
He should have
know?
put some railings up there, made it look really cool, you know, like
Yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. That would
yeah.
have been nice. It's a small area, satellite dishes and stuff and everything to the side and everything like that. Small little, small local dishes. But yeah. So the anthill is not too far, Eric. I just like easy to go up on the rooftop like really quick. Like I had the experience of going all the way over there since I moved away from that prior location, which was close to it. Because if I was close to it, I'd mix up 2 of them a day. Go to the anthill, go to the rooftop. At least one. But I have to go all the way over there. And then now I had the experience where out of nowhere, it was going to rain. I had to get out of there because now I had equipment. Before I used to walk like a block, like a block and a half. And I'm right there. There's dirt and everything there, but I can I felt a drop. Let me get in. But over here, it's a good distance.
You got to walk. Yeah.
It's a little walk, and I take a little motorcycle ride down, but I don't depend on the motorcycle rider when he's coming back because he might not be coming back.
Have you seen Daniel lately? Have you seen Daniel?
All the time. But I'm not in that neighborhood anymore. So that's where he works. But when I go over there to one of the stores or whatever, then I'll run into him and he'll take me back over this way sometime. To go over there with the equipment, even though the bag I have is water resistant, it's not waterproof. And to go all the way over there in certain times, so I just kind of like, well, this is more convenient. And in actuality, there's a little anthill in the back of this apartment.
I have to run. All right.
Okay. Understood.
Take care, guys. Yeah. Love you guys. We'll see you hopefully later.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Definitely. All right, sweetheart. Okay. Yeah. So that's the thing. So that's why that kind of worked out that way. And it's just nice to be able just to walk up, boop, right there, come down. No, look outside. Okay, it's not raining, whatever. I just don't like to just start it out at nighttime. It's not as interesting. It's not just, you have to see me, because I can stay inside and do audio. Matter of fact, I want to do more of the podcast, strictly audio stuff. And on the other platforms that we're on, this is how I mix it up and encourage people to go to different things. Like, okay, I'm back on Apple Podcasts, I'm on Spotify, and a lot of what you hear is from the channel, what you see on YouTube, and ultimately what you see on the site. The site has everything. There's not anything that we put up that's not on the site, right? So we're arranging how to keep things fresh and different categories and stuff like that. So say, for example, Sister Segment 7 is going to be coming back very soon, and that's a big surprise. But for all the videos that we've done with her, now you don't have to dig, or a person who comes in and doesn't know who she is. You see 2 videos of her right there. You click on it where it says show more, and it opens up a new page with all her stuff. So I'm glad to do that. So I'm going to tweak those pages and embellish them even more to make the site more of an experience. I mean, I've done several shows with Sophia Stewart. I need to make a category for her. So it's, oh, wow, you did that. Boom, Judge Joe Brown. I haven't done this one for a while. I'm going to reach out to them. But just different people, maybe people that are not famous, that like you hit that and you get yourself caught up into a whole other wing. Like when a mall has a whole new wing here, and and you're like, okay, let's go down this area, and you get caught up. You got to pull yourself away because we have a lot of great content over the years, but it's not sitting there on the surface for you to see. So, you can go to the archive section. I'm always kind of promoting it because there are new things that are happening, but I want you to do, I think in the beginning I found a way to get email addresses for those of you who already signed up. You can skip that part. But on the site, if you're not a member of the site, when you go there, right, at not the top, to the right-hand side, next to the screen, and those who are on the show on the site can look to the right side and see where it says sign up here and join us. If you haven't done that, that's where you do it. And I got to fix some of the colors on this thing because you have 2 red boxes. One on the left side says log in. The other on the right side says register. That's when you want to click in and make your page and set up. So that way you're part of the site, right? But I'll keep drilling these things in over and over. Ella had to go. I have to go. Like I said, we'll continue on this topic in depth from the very beginning. We're going to jump right on it, and we're going to make it a thing where we go through and have participation, and we'll go in, like I always like to say, with surgical precision. But anyway, I'm going to run right now. I'm going to make sure, like I said, we might come back on later on if I can get that individual, but I will create something later on because I know sleep is going to take me over big time, unexpected. And who knows, I may wake up in the hours, you know, so I'm going to play the music. It started already. Red Aquarian, good to see you. I'd love for you to come on the next show when we do it again with us tonight or tomorrow. But we will be always bringing some good stuff. And I do have a conversation with Mia Meow that she did that is only going to be on the site. I may drop some links in on YouTube and Facebook to go there, but it's just going to be there because it's that intense. Anyway, much love to you all. We will be back. I had a fun time today running my mouth, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Peace out.
Sun is rising, feel the warmth on my face. There's a lot to do now, but there ain't no race. I sip my coffee, I'm feeling fine. No need to work yet, I'm gonna take my time. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. Take a look out my window. See the birds in the trees. Their songs inspire me to sing a sweet melody. How do they do it? Not a care and some for free. Wanna step into their world. Who hold the key? It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real nigga, might get you canceled. Fuck the whole system, need the shit dismantled. Cops treat a nigga like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block, but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my blood burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government will make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my dick, please, Brad, I earn that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the crackers trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my niggas, middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy niggas still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy a chopper, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my dick heavy. But ain't shit sweet, niggas think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block, but don't know what goes on me. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburned. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm living cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we then. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, I still ain't caught that. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast, he took barrels of oil untold, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So, my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes, slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the worst, most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise. On his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell.